here at Wrigley Field. And obviously that Chicago police officer writing a ticket for a Sox fan who parked errantly. And we always like to see that when the Cubs and White Sox get together. Actually, is a very well-behaved series on the South Side last weekend. We expect the same today, Steve, and two very good teams matching up. Again, this year, both clubs thinking about division titles and thinking about perhaps meeting once again in October, and there's a shot of that happening as the Sox in first place, the Cubs closing fast in the National League Central.
Without the designated hitter, you can take away a little thunder from this White Sox lineup, but they do have a good offensive team, so you hope to be able to play them with the wind blowing in here at Wrigley Field, and that's exactly the kind of day that Carlos Zambrano is going to get today. So the Cubs, if they can, should take an early run, try to take advantage of some little baseball before the big guys try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. The wind isn't that much of a factor, but it'll probably freshen up as the day moves along. It's coming off the lake, and it's blowing right in over the scoreboard at home plate.
You might have seen a couple of moments ago Rafael Santana, the White Sox first base coach, gesturing to the men in the dugout. What he was telling their outfielders was the ground rule at Wrigley. If the ball goes in the vines and you can't find it, do not reach in. Otherwise, the runner can circle the bases. You have to throw your hands up and let the umpires come out and examine where the baseball is. The Cubs should know that rule. You figure Moises Alou has boned up on that as well. Hopefully it won't come into play for Carlos Zambrano on the mound to face this Ozzie Guillen presented White Sox starting lineup. Timo Perez leads off in center field with Uribe batting and playing second. Carlos Lee has killed the baseball in this ballpark. He'll hit third and left. Valentin, the shortstop, the cleanup man. Paul Konerko gets the first White Sox start at first base in the series. Ross Gload, a former Cub, is in right. Joe Crede at third base. Burke, the catcher, hits eighth. And Estaban Loaiza will pitch and bat ninth. Loaiza seeking victory number 9 this year, as is that man, Carlos Zambrano.
And there's a look at the numbers on Zambrano. For start number 16, he has completed a game. The ERA in the mid-2s. Opponent's hitting just .221. That's a pretty good percentage against him. What he will have to be careful of is trying to overthrow the ball in the first couple of innings. He'll have to try to keep it down and have him beat the ball into this friendly turf at Wrigley Field. So let's take a look at the Cubs' Corona defense. Now they'll line up behind Zambrano. And it's Alou, Patterson, and Sosa left to right, with Ramirez, Martinez, Grzelcyk, and Lee in the infield. Michael Barrett behind the plate. And Carlos Zambrano on the hill. So between Sosa in right and Patterson in center, they have a grand total of no errors this year.
Stoney Carlos faced the White Sox in his last start and walked the world. He was awfully pumped up for that ball game. What does a starter learn from one start to the next against the same team?
Well, I think it's going to really help him, one, that he's at home, and two, that the wind is blowing in. And if I know Larry Rothschild, he probably said to him, we want you under a little more composure early in the game. If that's the case, they probably are not going to hit you.
A ball high to Timo Perez, and we're underway. Chris Guccione will call the balls and strikes.
It's 75 degrees, summer resort weather, and Carlos Zambrano has overthrown 2 fastballs, and he finds himself behind 2-0.
Perez hitting .292 for the White Sox, and that one good enough. 2 balls and a strike. Perez 4 for 8 against the Cubs over on the other side of town with a home run and a couple driven in. And 3 out of 4 out of the zone for Carlos to start the game.
I don't like to see him 96, 97 early. That means that he is very strong, and it also means that he can't throw the sinker well.
And on 5 pitches, the leadoff man on for the White Sox. Again, Zambrano walked 5 men in 6 innings against them last weekend, and Perez a running threat here in the first.
And Ozzie Guillen told us before the game that, look, I know that my team can slug. He said, but my team can also play some little ball. He said, that's the kind of baseball I prefer playing, but you have to play to the capabilities of your personnel. He said, we can hit the ball out of the ballpark. We hit the ball out of the ballpark better when we have a designated hitter. He goes, but like in Minnesota where we have to play little ball, he goes, we can do that. He said, watch today if it's a close game.
Let's see if Uribe's bunting early. He has not been swinging the bat real well of late. Just 6 hits and 44 tries, and Zambrano can't find the strike zone. 1 ball, no strikes.
Uribe came over from Colorado. Turned out to be a real good trade for Kenny Williams and the Sox. They give up Aaron Miles, and Uribe has been a revelation this year.
Perez a short lead at first, not going, and the bunt popped up. Hard hit off the glove of Derek Lee, and everybody's going to be safe.
It's going to go as a sacrifice in an air, and Derek Lee tried to throw it before he caught it. He was looking at second, and he had the ball bounce off his glove.
Hey,
An ominous
Stu, it's Mitch,
beginning
when you
to
get a
this
chance.
one, and it's a sacrifice E3. You see him turn around to throw. He just forgot to catch it. His 3rd error of the year.
So an inauspicious start, and that'll bring up Carlos Lee. Since the 2000 season, Carlos Lee is hitting .396 in this ballpark. 19 hits in 48 at bats, and he's got a big chance for the Sox early in our game. Driven a mile out of play, foul for strike 1.
Big advantage if Carlos can tone it down a little and throw a ground ball. Lee's grounded into 6 double plays. He does have real good speed for a big man. In fact, surprising speed.
Back toward us for strike 2.
Carlos Lee in this ballpark hasn't exactly been a one-man gang, but he's been close. So we'll see who wins the Carlos matchup.
There's also a Lee matchup today at Wrigley Field. 2-strike pitch is low and away. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Both of these teams have been known to swing and miss a whole lot. Lee with 47 strikeouts in under 300 at bats.
Little pop right side. Long run for Sammy over by the White Sox bullpen, but the wind will push that out of play. And Carlos Lee gets another swing here. The White Sox fresh off a sweep in Minnesota. Swept him at the Metrodome for the first time in 9 seasons. And now the White Sox, with a 5-game win streak, have a 2-game lead over Minnesota in the American League Central. Cubs enter play 3 games behind the slumping Cardinals, who play the Mariners tonight at Busch Stadium. 1-2 pitch, and down goes Carlos Lee. There's the strikeout you were talking about. 1 away. Valentin, the hitter.
That was a good sinker low and in to Lee. Just couldn't get the head of the bat out. It's exactly where Barrett wants it. Look at the movement of that one. That one just disappeared low and in. And Carlos Lee is down on strikes.
That'll bring up Valentin, the shortstop, hitting .267 with 17 home runs.
If you give him too many hittable fastballs, he's going to really hurt you.
2 on, 1 out now for Zambrano. That one too far inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
We started him out with the hard slider. If you are going to throw the fastball, you want to sink it away from him. Try to get him to roll over and ground into a double play. Valentin has fanned 70 times, and he's grounded into 6 double plays.
He's a real rarity in that he used to switch it, but still a guy that at the shortstop position can consistently hit you 20 home runs or more.
He's going to fly by that number this year. He's got tremendous power. This is what he sits on. He gets ahead in the count, sits on fastballs waist high and above, and can hit them a long way.
He's a guy that has killed the Cubs throughout his long big league career, which included a stop in Milwaukee. 2-0 your count. Popped up back toward us and over our heads. Timo Perez led off with a walk. Uribe tried to bunt him to second, did so, but Derek Lee booted the baseball. Carlos Lee struck out with men at first and second, and now Valentina heading the count. 2 balls and a strike.
Carlos took a little something off that sinker, and he had Valentin well out ahead of it.
All 3. 3-1. Killer Paul Konerko waits next. Full count.
Carlos just humped up and threw that one by him. He kept it just under the letters. 96 miles an hour.
So a 3-2 pitch coming to the cleanup man, Jose Valentin. Runner's not moving, and he strikes him out. Here's Konerko, the 2 outs.
Carlos just went into another gear and threw another fastball right down the middle by Valentin. That's why he's fanned 71 times this year, en route to about 150 of those.
But now you've got to face Konerko, who was a one-man wrecking crew last weekend. He's already at the 20 home run mark for the Sox and has driven in 54. And for him, what a difference a year makes. Last year at this time, he was hitting almost 100 points less, 16 fewer home runs, and 36 fewer runs batted in. It's been a turnaround the first half for Konerko.
They have one big advantage is you're probably not going to see too many infield hits off the bat of Paul Konerko. But he's shown that he can hit the ball and take it out of the ballpark all over the park. He's got very good power to all fields. And Carlos consistently has fallen behind these Sox hitters.
A 2-0 pitch. Raises the outside corner. 2-1 now. White Sox have scored in the first inning in 9 consecutive games. Zambrano trying to stop that string here today. Ross Gload, a former Cub, waiting next.
Nobody's paying any attention to Perez out at second base.
He's got a 6 or 7 step lead. The 3-1 pitch nowhere near, and the Sox have him loaded here with 2 outs. Perez to third, Uribe to second, Konerko trots to first, and Ross Gload will hit now.
Looked to me like Carlos felt that Konerko was a little more dangerous to him than Ross Gload. It might turn out to be the case, but on paper it certainly looks like Carlos wanted to pitch around him and take his chances with Gload, the left-hander.
Ross, you might remember, played with the Cubs back in the 2000 season. That almost hit him. Ball 1. Again, he falls behind.
Well, this is a recipe for giving up a couple of runs. You walk a couple of men, you get an error, and then a broken bat hit or so, you find yourself down.
Ball 2.
This one just missed the inside corner. Chris Guccione said, "Nope, can't give it to you there, son."
Not when you're as wild as he's been early in this game. Bags full, the 2-0 pitch. That one good enough. 2 balls and a strike. Gload playing because Gload's been hitting. Now the 2-1. Ball 3.
That one almost took the logo off his uniform. It went right above the 2.6 and right below the Chicago.
And you keep pointing out, Steve, the velocity. He's been 95, 96, 97 in his pitches to Gload.
Yeah, that's all well and good if you get it near the zone, but you'd rather it sink.
Well, he paddles back for a 3-2 count now, and the runners will be moving with 2 down.
This is Gload's first look. Carlos Zambrano, and you figure he would reach back, try to get a little something extra on this fastball.
It has not helped him, however, so far in the first. 3-2, runners go. Fly ball, left field line. Long run, Alu, but the wind will push that well into the ground.
With the wind blowing in, almost without exception, anything hit down the lines is going to drift into the seats on both sides of the field. You can't give up on it, but that's normally the case, so hitters don't mind as much because they get an extra pitch.
Another 3-2. Runners go. Fisted back toward us. 98 on the gun from Zambrano. I mean, he is clearly pumped up. And that was my question to Steve early in the inning. Can he harness his emotions and harness his control?
That ball was up and out of the strike zone, but Gload couldn't wait around to be all that particular.
Brady waits on deck. The Cubs would like to see him in his second inning. The 3-2. Another pitch popped out of play. Good at bat by Gload here. Go 3-2, hammered right field line, pretty deep. That ball hooking toward the pole. It is a fair ball, a grand slam, and Sammy's gonna argue. The Cubs say it's foul. First base umpire Charlie Relaford says fair. It's a grand slam for Ross Gload for the moment.
We're going to be able to take a look.
Now Relaford's gonna ask for some help.
Take another look at it. They're going to talk about it, and let's see if they call it a foul ball.
Now Ozzy's going to argue about it.
You can see the ball all the way, and it looks like a foul ball. And if you can see the ball all the way in front of the pole, the ball is foul.
How about the usher? He's losing his mind.
Well, you slow it down, and the ball's just a foul ball. If you saw the ball disappear before, now watch it again and watch the ball. You can see the ball all the way. It doesn't disappear in back of the screen. It hooks in front of it. That's a foul ball.
Yep. We have the benefit of the replay. So Charlie Relaford made the call. Then he came in, asked for some help from the rest of the crew, and without the benefit of the replay, he got the call right. It is a foul ball, and the Cubs still have bases loaded. 3-2 to Ross Gload. What a way to start the weekend, huh?
Well, you knew it was going to be something, you just didn't know what. Turned out to be a correct call, one that certainly makes Cub fans very happy.
So it's still scoreless. Let's see if Zambrano can keep it that way. The 3-2 pitch. Line drive over short, base hit. 1 run scores. Uribe around third. He will score. Konerko to third. He'll stop there. Gload doubles home a pair, and the White Sox, instead of getting 4, get 2. It's 2-0, and they have indeed scored in the first inning in 10 consecutive games. You give good teams extra outs, you're going to pay the price, and Zambrano has here early.
And it's 20 runs batted in for Gload. Carlos got that fastball up. For him, belt high is too high. And normally when he's pumped up, the ball's not sinking. He's not getting ground balls. And that turns into line drives. Base hits turn into runs.
So 2 walks, an error, and a Gload double. Plates a pair for the Sox. Here's Creedy. A .245 average with 12 home runs. He's knocked in 37. And a first pitch strike. Quickly, 0-2. So Ross Gload's heroics have quieted the crowd for the moment. Cute foul past first.
Using up a whole lot of pitches here in the first inning. He's at the 35 pitch mark. Maybe he'll burn off some of that excess energy.
Toward first, Derek fields cleanly this time, and that'll retire the side. The White Sox get a couple of runs on 1 hit, 1 very big error, and yes, 1 very big foul ball. Stops the bleeding at 2. Here come the Cubs in the first. Race car. This isn't a NASCAR race, however, although the White Sox did run a few extra laps in that first inning. They played a pair. Now the Cubs come up in their half of inning number 1, and Mark Grudzielanek will be the leadoff man today. Estaban Loaiza gunning for his 9th victory. Got a ton of run support when we last saw him at U.S. Cellular Field.
And we'll keep a close eye on that cut fastball away from the right-hand hitters, because it hasn't been as explosive this year. When it is, he's tough to hit.
1 ball, 1 strike. Grudzielanek at .289 on the year, a home run, 4 driven in. High pop with the wind blowing in. That's probably going to be caught. Nope, Konerko couldn't handle it. There's a break. Grudzielanek a swing on the house here.
Pretty tough wind if you're not used to it. And Konerko lets that ball fall harmlessly. It'll be a no play. It is a play that should have been made, however.
And so a strike to Mark. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count here in the Cubs half of the first inning. Estaban Loaiza gunning for career win number 99 today. Of players born in Mexico, he ranks 2nd on the all-time win list. Any idea of who number 1 is?
Originally got to the major leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1995. Later pitched with Texas, Toronto, and last year the Sox, where he went 21-9.
Number 1 winningest Mexican pitcher, Fernando Valenzuela, who's going to pitch again this winter.
Well, he hasn't decided quite yet. He said he's got to know the people down there. He's got to understand the situation. How will they use him? And how are the post-game spreads?
That's always important. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As we said earlier, maybe he can bring his broadcast colleague Rick Monday down there with him to patrol the outfield. Help shave a few points off that ERA. 2-2 the count to Grudzielanek. Did he go? I think he did.
And that's that sweeping cut fastball or slider that he uses to the right-handers. When that's exploding, the right-handers have a real tough time.
Let's take a look at the Cubs lineup. Rudzilonic, Patterson, and Sammy Sosa, the top three. Alu Ramirez in lead, the middle of the attack, with Michael Barrett, Ramon Martinez, and Zambrano hitting ninth.
There's a look at the season for Estaban Loaiza on for his 17th start. He's completed a couple of them, looking for win number 9.
He jumps ahead of Patterson, who brings a 10-game hit streak into play. Steve, you mentioned a key for the Cubs, Corey Patterson, early and often today.
Well, I think he's got to get on base.
Little pop left side. Creedy and Valentine converge. It'll be the shortstop. Valentine makes an easy play, 2 outs.
We're going to take a look at the Sox Corona defense. And it's Lee, Perez, and Gload left to right. With Creedy, Valentine, Uribe, and Canerco. Jamie Burke behind the plate. And Esteban Loaiza on the hill. And quite frankly, it's not a particularly good defense. They beat a lot of teams by pummeling them into submission. These boys can hit.
Here comes Sammy. Sammy hit a couple of home runs last weekend. One that went a mile into straightaway center field. He hit the game winner yesterday for the Cubs and has 552 lifetime home runs.
First one was a rocket. The second one made it just far enough.
While you look at that tape, you missed a Sammy Sosa foul ball out of play. 2 balls and a strike here in our first inning. Sammy with 13 homers, 30 driven in. Rolled toward third. Creedy a backhanded stab. The long toss across in time, and Loaiza keeps momentum on the south sider side. 2-0 White Sox after 1.
And the Sox face off against one of the AL's elite when Vladimir Guerrero and
Jamie Burke leads off the White Sox second inning. And Steve, I know you would agree with me.
I would.
When you would say that a general manager really has to know the proper time to trade a guy with kidney stones.
Well, I think Kenny Williams showed his brilliance in anticipation of Miguel Olivo having kidney stones. He sent him away, and he promptly went on the shelf. The timing of those stones is critical in your evaluation of when to make a deal.
And timing of stones is imperative in a broadcast too.
Indeed, true.
So Burke and Alomar are going to split time behind the plate for the White Sox, and Burke rolls to short, and Zambrano gets a ground ball. That's a good sign. Need more of those from Carlos today. Today's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids are Brianna Shuttler from Orland Hills, Illinois, and Kevin Hernandez from Chicago. The Bat Kids winners big day at Wrigley Field. Compliments of Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs.
And the kids usually have a terrific time at the ballpark. Get a lot of autographs, sit in the dugout before the game, and today they got to see a doubleheader because before the game,
the Cubs wives and Sox wives
they went head-to-head in a softball game with the Cubs wives humiliating the Sox wives. Well, what was it, 5-4?
But still,
you know, but
the wind blowing in,
the Cubs wives have always been able to win the close ones. Hey, they worked out. They had excellent coaching. They did the little things, and in the end, they won the ball game.
Loaiza is down on strikes, and there's out number 2.
And in the end, it all went for charity. It was a wonderful event. And the Cubs wives are going to probably try to stay undefeated as long as possible.
Well, I was going to say, if their counterparts don't come up with a win, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people at home tonight. Here's Timo Perez. He walked and scored the game's first run. We'd like to welcome our affiliate, Bellevue Municipal Cable, and their viewers in Bellevue, Iowa, to Wrigley Field this afternoon. A wild start. Ross Gload missed a first inning grand slam by about a foot.
Then the Donnybrook was on, but you figure there will be some sort of controversy when the Sox and Cubs get together. Cubs have played very well at home, 22-16. Perez was able to call time and have it acknowledged by Chris Guccione. The White Sox on the road, just a .500 team, 18-18. Don't tell that to the Minnesota Twins, however, as the Sox went there and dominated them. Minnesota's lost 5 in a row, and the Sox have won 5 in a row.
Grounded toward first. Derek Lee couldn't get it. Timo Perez on again. This guy's been a real pest against the Cubs pitching staff.
I think Timo has found new life in a White Sox uniform. Took him a couple of organizations before he started to get comfortable, and now he's getting an opportunity to play and making the most of it.
That'll bring up Uribe already with 11 home runs. That's a career high for him.
Well, Uribe showed streaks of power in the minor leagues, but nobody dreamt that he would have this kind of power in the major leagues. I mean, he came from Colorado. You figure if you're going to have any power, it's going to at least double as a member of the Rockies.
What are they going to do with Valentin at shortstop at the end of this season? Would Uribe be a suitable replacement for him? Should Valentin be let go?
Valentin's a big bat.
Full foul pass. Joey Cora, their third base coach. No balls and a strike.
Well, I'm not sure that anybody believed that Uribe would play as well as he's played. But if he has a full season of these kind of numbers, then you would have to think twice about where he fits in. He's going to play somewhere. The question is, what does Valentin want? To stay a Sox player for a long time? I know they love him over there. He enjoys it over there, and now that he's stopped switch hitting, he's a pretty big factor hitting the ball out of the ballpark and driving in runs. We know about his defensive deficiencies, but he's a good man for the team.
1 ball, 1 strike. Took a little off and got it past Uribe. 1-2 now. Two and two. Still upwards in the high 90s is Carlos Zambrano's fastball today.
It's not necessarily bad if you're down, 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 and then go up with a fastball to wipe out a hitter. That's okay.
He's been belt high and higher all afternoon long so far. 2 balls, 2 strikes again to Uribe.
And after a couple of quick outs, the White Sox have really made him work. And this is what a good offensive team will do. They'll make a pitcher work early. Probably try to get him into the 50s sometime in the 3rd inning. And before you know it, you've got to go to the bullpen.
He was close to 40 after 1. Runner goes, good jump. Pitch popped up, shallow right. Wynn trying to push that ball foul, and it will. So back to first will go Perez. Uribe back to the plate. Another big question for the White Sox is when's Mags coming back? Leo Ordonez has been out after some knee surgery. There was faint hope he might come back sometime this weekend to face the Cubs. That might be overly optimistic, however.
I would doubt very seriously if that was going to happen.
Well, they've more than held their own without their star right fielder. Like the Cubs without Sammy Sosa, the White Sox 3 over 500 without Ordonez over the last month. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Snap throw down to first, but too high. And safely back Perez, who will be running again now with a 3-2 count. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, cut on and missed, and that'll retire the side. 3 strikeouts for Zambrano, who trails by 2 in the middle of our second.
Yeah, looking good. Keep working. Not under the boat now. Here, you got it? You got it? Yeah. Get in. Yeah. Bummer, it's just an 8-footer.
Oh, well, throw it back.
Yeah.
bad day in Florida beats a good day almost anywhere else. Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to select cities in Florida for just $79 each way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Welcome to the House of Beer. We have 170 kinds of beer from all over the world. The beers are color-coded and separated by country, style, and color. Call me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'll have a Sam Adams.
Yeah.
You can go around the world and not find a better beer than Samuel Adams. Always a good decision.
Luxury means never leaving home, even when you leave home. Surround yourself with DVD entertainment for 7 passengers, 315 horsepower, remarkable handling, satellite navigation, a rear-view monitor, and the most second-row legroom in its class. Introducing Infinity's new full-size SUV, the QX56. Unexpected? Expect nothing less from Infinity.
Cubs fans, enjoy a drink with your friends before, during, or after the game at the Friendly Confines. Near the corner of Addison and Sheffield, the Friendly Confines offers easy access in and out of the game. Enjoy Cubs ambience inside or order from the grill and relax in the outdoor patio.
Well, who will forget June of 1998, the Cubs and White Sox here at Wrigley Field. The Cubs swept them. June 5th, Brant Brown in the 12th inning hits a game-winning home run off Tony Castillo. The Cubs won that one 6-5. June 6th, Sammy Sosa hit a solo home run. The Cubs won that one 7-6. And then on June 7th, Sammy Sosa with a homer and 5 RBIs completed the 3-game series win over the White Sox. Alu grounds out on the first pitch of our second inning. 4 up and 4 men down for Estaban Loaiza.
Well, obviously, the Cubs need a few more Castillos on the White Sox pitching staff.
Here's Aramis Ramirez, the third baseman for the Cubs. 4 for 11.
I've noticed, however, they're conspicuously without them this season.
No Castillos?
Nope. Down a pair.
Well, the trading deadline is still 29 days away. You never know. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big news in the desert today, apparently, huh?
The Diamondbacks have relieved Bob Brenly of the skippership of that team.
Pulled, foul by inches.
We haven't heard of any replacement, but it's sure to be interim, I would believe. I think Brenly paid the price for a number of things that went wrong. Pretty tough when you make a big trade and you want the centerpiece of that deal to give you something you don't have, and that's right-handed power. And then you see Richie Sexton go down for the year. That really hurt that team. And they trade away Kurt Schilling, making you 1 man short in the starting rotation, so it got tough.
They may not be done. Steve Finley, a guy that is rumored to be headed elsewhere.
Oh, they're going to make some trades.
Randy Johnson even might go.
They're going to rework the baseball team and try to look ahead to the future. This has not been the Diamondbacks' year.
After 1 or 2, when will Luis Gonzalez say enough's enough and get that elbow fixed?
Well, I think Louis is a pretty smart guy, and I think he realizes that whatever numbers he puts up this year are not going to help him. He's got a couple more years left for sure.
Line drive left center field. That ball crushed. That'll one-hop the wall, and Ramirez on his way to second base. There's your first Cub hit, a rope off the man of Aramis Ramirez. Double number 22 on the year.
That one hit awfully hard by Ramirez, who's hit just about everything hard the last month. That was that cut fastball that didn't do anything. It just stayed right there. And a 1-hop off the ivy, rattles around for a bit.
That'll bring up Derek Lee, the Cub first baseman, hitting .301. The White Sox, however, held him down. Just 1 hit and 13 tries last weekend. This is one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball in the month of June. So they pitched him pretty tough. Driven toward right field pretty deep. Gload back on the warning track. Makes a fine attempt but drops the ball. Ramirez around third. He's going to score, and the Cubs are on the board. Gload turned the wrong way, and it cost him.
Well, he just missed the ball. And we've told you about this White Sox defense. It has hasn't been particularly good all year, and it cost him at least one there. I don't know how you give him a base hit there. The ball hit out of the middle of his glove.
Now they're saying hit and an error.
No, they got to go straight E9.
Scoreboard shows 2 hits for the Cubs.
It's just E9.
Yeah, they did change it now to E9. So the Cubs are on the board. Ramirez scores. Lee at second for Michael Barrett. White Sox now. Error number 51 this season. Tight strike evens the count. Hard hit ball to the right side. Moving to third will be Derek Lee. It cost the Cubs out number 2, however, here in the second inning. Let's see how Loaiza approaches Martinez with Cub pitcher Zambrano coming to the on-deck circle.
Well, Loaiza knows that Zambrano's a pretty good hitter. Got a little more power from the right side, but hitting 171 overall.
And they'll pitch around Martinez as you expected. Of what we hope will be many walks for Loaiza today. One thing about this White Sox club during this 5-game win streak, Steve, they've hit well, they've pitched great, they've caught the baseball. Just one error entering play today during that long streak of theirs.
Well, today with a couple of plays that should have been made that weren't. They still have the lead. They have enough thunder in this lineup to overcome some faulty defense on occasion. And the Cubs are hoping that Carlos can right the ship. He could start out here with a big base hit to tie it up.
Cubs are at the corners with 2 outs. And it's in for a strike, 0-1. That man has yet to lose a game at home this season. Toronto a perfect 5-0. Generous outside corner. Carlos didn't agree. 0-2.
Looked like he cut that fastball and shaved off the outside corner, and that's Carlos at home. Only Eric Milton has been as good.
Fisted towards short. Valentin up and across, and got his man by a step, and that'll retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and a couple left. White Sox 2, Cubs 1, heading to the third.
I got that world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow. I got that little string around my
It's that time of year again. The Mercedes-Benz Summer Event is going on right now. It's an event worth remembering. Visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. 2.9% financing is available through Mercedes-Benz Credit on the newly redesigned 2005 C230 sports sedan.
Don't you see that I'm in love?
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Time to get up and make a trip to Military and Police Supply. It's wherever.
It's a 2-1 score. And Steve Stone, this third inning, figures again to be a tough one with the heart of the order coming up. Lee, Valentin, and Konerko.
We just don't want to see Carlos Zambrano overthrow the ball and get behind. If he starts feeling more comfortable, usually sinker ballers do, then it can be a pretty tough afternoon for these White Sox hitters. But the Sox, who can score in double figures with the best of them in baseball, have a real good lineup, and they're missing one of their best hitters, Magglio Ordonez. And if you believe all the rumors, they would have Maglio going any one of a number of places when he does get healthy.
Lee struck out his first time up, and he's going to ground out his second time. Ramon to his left. Easy play for out number one. When Carlos Zambrano is right, those are the kinds of outs he gets early in the count and on the ground.
Let him keep counting the ball, and if you try to get it through this Wrigley Field infield grass, it'll be a long afternoon. That's why Carlos is undefeated in this park.
Valentin struck out in the first. No balls and a strike. Tomorrow's game 2, Greg Maddux and Diaz will pitch. That'll be on Fox National. Sunday night, Mark Burley and Glendon Rush on ESPN. So the 4th of July, a night game here at Wrigley. Steve and I will join you again from Miller Park in Milwaukee Monday afternoon.
Diaz threw very well against the Cubs on the south side of town. And the question is, will they get used to his off-speed offerings twice in a week?
How tough is that for a pitcher to face the same team twice in consecutive starts?
Sometimes if you're a youngster and that hit him, if you're a youngster, you don't really know the difference. Carlos has hit 11 of them this year.
So no easy innings yet for Zambrano. Valentin aboard in front of Konerko, who walked and was stranded in the first.
Gets plunked. What he thinks about is stealing second base. Now, Valentin might not have the speed he had as a youngster, but he's 5 of 6 in the stolen base department.
Low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Interleague action all across the slate later on tonight, with the exception of Milwaukee. They're in Pittsburgh later on today. Brewers are having a terrific year. They're in 3rd place, a half game behind the Cubs. 2 balls, no strikes.
And as a result of that trade, Lyle Overbay is having just a magnificent season, not only hitting over 330 but driving in a whole lot of runs. And you've got Counsell as their everyday shortstop. Spivey's playing second base. They got Moeller catching, so they helped fill in a team.
Capuano also a young starter for them.
He's got a chance to be pretty special. So that turned out to be a good trade. And of course, from the Diamondbacks perspective, they got what they wanted. Only you couldn't possibly have envisioned a man who played every inning of every game last year would come up and be lost for the season this year.
And that player, of course, Richie Sexson, a big slugging first baseman. The 2-1 count to Konerko. Well, he's been behind virtually everybody today.
Well, I know that Konerko will swing and miss a lot, but to stay out of the double play and Paul does not run well, I would send Valentin here. We'll see what's on the mind of Ozzie Guillen, who has proven to be a little more aggressive than White Sox managers in the past.
Not going. Pitch flared into center field. Long run for Corey Patterson. He's going to make the play, and they'll flip it to first for a double play. How about that? Patterson, a fine running catch. They double off Valentin, and the Sox are done in the 3rd. 2-1. Southsiders the lead. The order for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mark Gonzalez. It was that sweeping cut fastball that retired him in the 1st inning. Let's see if Mark's prepared to handle that from Loaiza, who has a modest lead of 2-1 so far. Hard hit ball through for a leadoff hit. Good start to the Cub 3rd. Gonzalez 1 for 2. And now Corey Patterson will stand in.
Patterson has been working on his bunting, doesn't necessarily have to lay it down here. But Konerko on the right side is back.
Corey shows bunt and takes a ball away. You know, an interesting graphic yesterday on Corey Patterson. The number of pitches he saw the first 2 months of the season was right around 600 in total. In the month of June, he saw over 400 pitches at the plate. Consequently, his batting average has surged upwards of 290 for the Cubs.
But when you're seeing 25 or 30% more pitches, that means you eventually are going to get into hitters' counts. When you do that, Corey is strong enough and quick enough to be able to make the pitcher pay.
1 ball, no strikes. Cubs are down a run. Off the plate, ball 2, 2-0.
Okay, so he's in a position here. Now, the first pitch was off the plate. He could have easily bunted it and probably put it in position and got Grzelcyk to second. But now he's in a terrific hitter's count. Now you most likely take the bunt off, hoping he can drive the ball to left center field.
That's where they give him a lot of room with which to work, as Timo Perez shaded way around toward right center.
That would show you that, one, he's probably going to see off-speed pitches, but that Loaiza throws a lot of cut fastballs into left-handers. I don't know if he's going to do it to Corey, but if he throws fastballs away, it'll be hitting away from his defense.
Fly ball, center field. That ball tailing away from Perez. Look at that ball carry on the warning track. It's over his head in the ivy. And Perez puts his hands up immediately. As we told you, their coaching staff was showing them before the game started. It's in the vines. That'll be a rule book double. And the Cubs have runners second and third with nobody out.
There's an example, Chip. They were playing around toward right center. If you pitch him low and away, that ball can't be caught because he's going to hit the ball to left center field. If he's playing him to left center, he's going to get that ball. That ball hit the bottom of the wall.
So a great chance for the Cubs to take the lead here. Here's the man who's played in all 40 of these Crosstown Classic games, Sammy Sosa. Line drive center field. That'll score 1. Patterson around third. They're going to wave him. The Perez throw to the plate is not in time. He got under the tag and the Cubs lead. And into second on the throw is Sammy. 3-2. Cubs in front.
Corey Patterson's the fastest Cub base runner they have. And even though Perez throws well, you figure to take a gamble because it's going to be a real tough throw to handle. He's got to come in, either throw it on a fly or throw it over the pitcher's mound. And with Corey Patterson running, it took a good play, but Burke cannot secure the baseball. Corey safe. The Cubs have taken the lead.
So 3 straight hits in the third inning. The second time around for Loaiza, a whole lot tougher. Another shot to center field. Perez broke back. Now comes charging in. Can't make the play. Bare hand throw cut off, and they're at the corners. 4 straight Cub hits in the third inning with nobody out. Right now, Stoney, the White Sox not playing the Winds particularly well today.
Well, also, the stuff of Loaiza isn't near as good as it was last year. Last year, when he was 21-9, his slider exploded away from the right-handers. And this is a difficult part to play if you're not all that familiar with the capricious nature of the Winds.
So the Cubs come storming back here with 2 in the third inning, looking for a whole lot more. And you've got to keep the pressure on this White Sox offense by scoring plenty yourself. And that'll bring up Aramis Ramirez. 2 on, 2 in, nobody out. Ramirez a double his first time. Inside corner, good pitch. Strike 1 call.
Ramirez has been picking up a lot of runs batted in to right center field. That's where Perez has him shaded.
Yanked foul over the Cub dugout, 0-2.
The problem is if you continue to pitch him inside, like he did the first time up. That's the ball that you double on into left center. This is a huge hitter for Loaiza.
0-2. Nowhere near well off the plate. Ramirez hoping to make the All-Star team for the National League. Scott Rowland's going to start. Ramirez having a terrific first half for the Cubs, on pace for another 30-homer, 100-plus RBI year. And that's over the inside corner. He surprised him. 1 out.
Very few guys will try to throw that little cut fastball over the inside corner, but Loaiza did. His first 2 fastballs tailed inside. That's a little slider, and well caught by Burke, convincing Guccione that it indeed had the corner.
That'll bring up Derek Lee. He reached on the 2-base error by Ross Gload in right. That plated Ramirez with the Cubs' first run. He's trying to stay inside and tie up these big right-handed Cub hitters in this 3rd inning. 2 runs, 4 hits already in. Inside pitch fouled away. Hope our head groundskeeper Roger Baird's feeling better today. Roger under the weather and watching us from Evanston Hospital today. So Roger, the grounds crew, and all of us miss you today for the White Sox series opener. 1-1. Rolled towards short. Can they turn it? Second for 1. The relay to first is in time. A big double play. Ramirez was the key man in the inning. The Cubs strand another man in the 3rd inning, but they take the lead 3-2 heading to our 4th.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by
between the Cubs and White Sox. It was the Cubs winning 8-3. It was what was then called Comiskey Park. That leads us to our Aflac trivia question here as we go to the 4th inning. Which former Cub was the White Sox losing pitcher in the Cubs win?
Carmen fan zone.
Carmen is
probably not, huh?
Probably not the right answer. Ross Gload missed a grand slam by about 8 inches down the right field line. It was clearly foul. After originally being called fair by Charlie Relaford, the umpires conferred and did make the right call without the replay.
Then he, however, did drive home a couple of runs with a double.
That's downstairs from Zambrano. He's been given the lead. Let's see if he can start working some efficient innings. A lot of pitches for Carlos through 3 innings so far.
He had a pretty good inning last inning, despite the fact that he hit Valentin.
Ripped to right field. Long run Sammy at the track. He's got it. Well, Gload has been on every pitch today. But he's out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
Good play by Sammy because he had to get back to the track and then take a direct right turn along the track. Pretty good effort. Takes a 2-base hit away from Gload. That'll help Carlos take a little sting out of this inning.
That'll bring up Creedy. Creedy rolled out to first. And he pops it out of play. Want to wish Anthony Ramirez a happy first birthday today. Leo Sosa works in the Cubs ticket office, passes along his birthday wishes.
Now Carlos is starting to throw that exploding sinker. Well, things have settled down for him. Both of the runs he's given up have been unearned.
Another chance in right field. Runzolana going out, battling the sun and wind, and he makes a good catch. 2 quick outs, and you'd love to get Burke here and make Loaiza lead off the White Sox 5th offensively.
That's a much tougher play than it looks. Sammy couldn't get to it. There's no chance for Derek Lee. And the only man to make the play is Grzelcyk, who's looking straight up into the sun as the ball's drifting away. He's able to stay with it and make the play.
That'll bring up Burke. He didn't hit much in AAA. He's hit well in the major leagues, however.
What he's also done is played just about everywhere. So he's a guy that gives them a lot of flexibility. Behind the plate today, it can be anywhere tomorrow depending on where the hole is.
0-2. The Cubs are up a run, looking to shut him down here in the 4th inning. And even up the season series at 2 games apiece. Outside of fair territory goes Burke with that 0-2 pitch. Fans down the right field line make a good catch, and Burke will swing again here.
And besides all of that pride that goes with a crosstown classic or Windy City extravaganza or whatever else you care to call it at this point, the reality of it is that for both teams, there's a distinct chance that there's going to be postseason play. The White Sox have a bit of an advantage in that probably, although they've been given a tough time by Detroit and with Cleveland, the only team they really have to worry about is Minnesota. That's a team, I think, when they get Shannon Stewart back, that's a team can give them some problems. The Cubs have a few more worries than that. They've got a stronger division, a much improved Milwaukee team, and again, if Cincinnati can get re-healthy, they're a factor, along with Houston and St. Louis. And so the Cubs have to go out and try to put a string together, something they haven't been able to do a whole lot of. And they'll be able to do more of it when Kerry Wood comes back and they've got Mark Pryor. And this starts to look like the rotation that Jim Hendry envisioned.
Kerry Wood apparently ready to go out on a rehab start and may pitch July 11th in St. Louis. Fly ball by Burke, straightaway center. And Corey's there, and Zambrano does have a spotless 4th inning. Cubs by a run, looking for more, leading at 3-2. Tony, let's revisit our Aflac trivia question. The duck is cued, and the question was, which former Cub was the White Sox losing pitcher in a Cubs 8-3 win?
And it was
Dave Otto.
Jamie Navarro. It was a heartbreaking loss, I'm sure.
Well, it was for him. Here's Michael Barrett leading off the 4th inning.
Cubs could use a little insurance against his hard-hitting Sox team.
Bunt try, and out of reach of Burke behind the plate.
You know, that shows you that catchers are not near as dumb as a lot of people think they are. Because as he's going over there, he knows he's got the warning track, but also he scouted out the fact that there's new seats. And as he goes over and realized it would have to be a head-first dive, which would have taken him a lot of skin off the track and then head-first into the bricks, he said, you know what? I'll live for another pitch.
So you're saying that Derek Jeter was stupid with that play he made last night for the Yankees against the Red Sox?
No bricks over there.
Just concrete steps.
He jumped into the seats.
Quite honestly, as Barrett hits a rocket to right, Gload still going. That's over his head and off the wall. He boxes the ball for a moment, and Barrett in safely in this Cub 4th. To be honest with you, Stoney, I don't know, however, what's more dangerous, the brick wall here at Wrigley Field or the fandom at Yankee Stadium. And the Cubs indeed a chance to add some more here in the middle innings.
Michael Barrett is starting to turn things around. He went through a protracted slump. He shows you how strong he is. This is into the wind over the head of Ross Gload, who is proven that he can have problems with any type of fly ball in right field.
Hit it out there again, Ramon. On the way by, that almost buzzed him. 1 ball, no strikes. Hope our friends in jolly old England are enjoying our game today. Friends watching us in the United Kingdom and Ireland. From Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois.
How are they liking those gas prices?
That's
why they're staying home and watching us.
It's not gas, it's petrol over there.
Oh, it's petrol.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good. You can, how do you like those?
If it was gasoline, it'd be much cheaper. Yes.
Sure, no question. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball, left center field. Timo Perez, though, has a play. Barrett's thinking about tagging. He's going to try. Perez with a strong and accurate arm. Makes a good throw, but not good enough. Barrett to third. Martinez moves him up 90 feet.
Michael Barrett's got pretty good speed. Remember, he played all over for Montreal. And he's able to beat this play, but it's going to be pretty close if this throw is on the money. But it's a good gamble to take with 1 out. Because from third base, you can score on a wild pitch, a pass ball, a little blooper, and the infield in.
Wicked cut and fouled back by Zambrano. 0-1 to Carlos. Cubs have left 3 on base today. The White Sox also with 3 runners stranded. It's a big man 90 feet away to get. A 2-run lead with Zambrano's accuracy improving and the wind howling in would be a big bonus. And he might have provided it. Line to Lee and left. There's the catch, the tag, the throw to the plate is well off target and gives Zambrano an RBI.
Well, you're going to run on Lee every chance you get. He's a good hitter. He's been a good player, but he does not have a good arm. And that was a rocket. He should have had all the best of it, but that throw wasn't close. So Zambrano drives in a run. Good base running by Michael Barrett. And you see him tag up there. And that throw well off the mark.
You've heard broadcasters talk about the ability or inability of a team to manufacture a run. This inning for the Cubs in the 4th, a perfect example of doing it by simply making contact. Barrett doubled. Martinez fly to center. Michael Tagg went to third. Zambrano scores him on a fly ball. And it's a 4-2 Cub game. Another chance in right for Gload. Another curious route, but he makes the play this time. And that'll retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit. We're through 4. And the Cubs enjoying game 1 of the weekend series so far, leading 4-2. Nicely done, Gale. And here we go to the White Sox 5th. Loaiza is retired by Derek Lee with Zambrano covering the bag. 1 man down for the Southsiders.
Carlos is lucky in a couple different ways. He's lucky, one, that Loaiza appears to be a nice guy. He's also lucky it's not a different era, because he could have been put into the parking lot by Estaban Loaiza on this one. You turn around, you find yourself at the bag. It turns out to be a good play, and fortunately, very gentlemanly, Estaban Loaiza just kind of holds up, because he had Carlos off balance on 1 foot getting a throw.
You would have been the kind of guy that would have run over the opposing pitcher, I'm sure.
Only if Carlos were about a foot shorter.
Here's Perez. Let's see if the Cubs can solve him. He has walked, singled, and scored today.
I never tried to run out of my weight class.
You Kent State boys are awfully smart. 4-2 Cubs have a 5th inning lead.
Perez has had a pretty good day so far. He's had 2 very good at bats against Zambrano. Carlos wants to take a little time. He wants to collect his composure, get his breath back, and make some good pitches to Perez. You just don't want to walk him in the middle of this lineup.
Well, we hope our broadcasting counterparts on the White Sox side of things, Hawk Harrelson and Darren Jackson, are enjoying a well-deserved day off.
But I know that they're watching every minute of this game. This is a big game.
Biggest game today for either team.
It is indeed.
3 balls and a strike to Timo Perez. That fills it up, 3-2.
Well, if Zambrano throws that sinker away, and that's what he's trying to do to Perez, Moises Alou at best be ready.
The payoff pitch is out of play. White Sox radio crew. John Rooney and Ed Farmer hard at work down to our left.
It was nice to see John Rooney, and it's always good to see a former pitcher, Ed Farmer. He and I played on the 1980 All-Star game together.
Popped up left side. Wing might try to play tricks with this. Ramirez in fair territory with a last-minute stab. Finally retires Perez. And 2 are out in the 5th inning. Here's Uribe. He reached on a sacrifice and a Derek Lee error. He also struck out. Two more games to follow here at Wrigley Field this weekend. Greg Maddux will try to exact some revenge tomorrow. And then a real good matchup Sunday night. Mark Burley and Glendon Rush. Then it's off to Milwaukee for a Monday afternoon game. Our first look at the Brewers.
We've said it many times. You always think of having to beat St. Louis or beating Houston, but the Cubs are going to have to beat the Brewers because they play them a whole lot second half of the season. There's the upcoming schedule. The 2 more against the White Sox. You know about those. Then it's on to Milwaukee and St. Louis in the final road trip before the All-Star game.
We're going to play the Brewers 11 times in July alone, after not seeing them in April, May, or June. We'll be done with the Cardinals on July 20th. Very strange schedule this year. So a 2-out walk to Uribe brings up Carlos Lee, who's 0 for 2.
And here comes Dusty Baker. He wants to just have a word with Zambrano and what he wants him to do with Lee. The Cubs have a 2-run lead.
I wonder if he's asking him if there's any problem after that play at first base with Loaiza.
Well, he has used a lot of pitches, but usually Carlos, who's a horse, not affected with pitches in the 80s or low 90s.
So Dusty's meeting a brief one. Back to the dugout he goes. And Carlos Lee stands in with a man aboard and 2 out. He represents the tying run. Somewhat surprisingly, Carlos with just 7 home runs this year. A rope pulled foul. 0-1.
So that's the first part of the game plan that Dusty obviously talked to him about. Hang a slider on the first pitch and let him just crush it foul.
He's lulling him into a false sense of overconfidence.
Exactly right. That's what you do. That's good managing. And then if your player executes, boy, you look terrific.
No question. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So far it's going exactly according to plan.
Then again, maybe not. 2 balls and a strike.
No, falling behind is part of the plan. You get him overconfident, then you sink one inside to him, let him ground it to the left side.
Two and 2.
Well, that was a game plan, but he just didn't hit it hard enough.
You know, I don't like that particular game plan. Let's get him out a little easier.
Well, a face-high fastball on the inner portion would probably get the job done. We'll look in, and here it comes.
Line drive almost took Martinez into left field.
See, right at him.
Yeah. No runs, no hits, a man left. Zambrano qualifies for the win. He's up by 2.
This for both teams has been a touch spotty.
Well, let's see if Patterson can start things nicely here. 2, 3, and 4 on the Cub lineup card, due against Estaban Loaiza. Goes through the Cub attack for the 3rd time today. Fly ball, shallow center field. Perez, though, should have no trouble. And he makes a one-handed catch. That'll take care of Corey, and it'll bring up Sammy Sosa. His 2-run scoring single put the Cubs in front. I think tonight, Stoney, after the Cubs beat the White Sox, we'll have to head to Harry Carey's and celebrate with a little chicken Vesuvio.
Take some people from the marketing department also, because they've been very, very kind to us.
Big Jim Obojkowicz.
And we will limit him to only the left side of the menu. As large a fellow as he is.
That is the truth. David Bocelli of Arlington Heights hoping Sammy can hit a long ball here. David's our contestant in our always excited Toyota fan of the game inning. If the Cubs score, David will win a Fox Sports Net Toyota prize package, which includes a hat and t-shirt. Driven out of play, foul. Sosa behind, 2 strikes. I was at Harry's last night with David Kaplan of WGN Radio, and we watched that Yankees-Red Sox game last night. I mean, that was
pretty good ending, huh?
As terrific a game as you'll ever see. Nomar did not play for Boston. Red Sox get a go-ahead home run from Manny Ramirez late. Derek Jeter with one of the most incredible catches you'll ever see. And then John Flaherty with a game-winning hit decided it for the Yankees, who sweep away Boston. And now the Red Sox really reeling, 8.5 games out in the Eastern Division. And right now, Boston would not qualify for the playoffs. Oakland would be the American League's wild card.
I'm going to say, if you're Boston, you are not quite as worried as who's ahead of you as who's behind you catching up or might have caught you.
And how about Tampa Bay? As Sammy takes a late called 3rd strike. He can't believe that. He thought the ball was under his chin. So he's rung up for the 2nd out.
Chris Guccione wound up from that. Waited a while and then called it. That ball doesn't appear to be close. I don't think he thought Sammy swung at it. And when your catcher wants it low and away and your pitcher throws it up and in and you still get rung up, you can't make you very happy. Sammy with a look of incredulity.
He couldn't believe it either. Another inside corner strike to Moises Alou. But the Tampa Bay's now just 3.5 games behind Boston in the AL East. That's got to make all the sabermetricians a little nervous at Fenway Park.
Well, apparently they could not computerize the 3-game loss that found the Yankees winning 5 at the same time. And Boston has spent a ton of money, and they've still got a very good team. Kurt Schilling is having a very good year for them. What Boston has been unable to do, and nobody's been able to find out just exactly why, they can't win on the road. They're 17-21 away from Beantown.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Alou.
And take a look at those gaudy numbers. The New York Yankees have had all kinds of parasite problems, and yet they're still leading by 8.5 games.
But they've shown a lot of
Imagine if they've eaten well.
A lot of intestinal fortitude, Stoney, to win 50 games so far, and they may be in the hunt for Randy Johnson. I mean, George Steinbrenner might as well just spend $300 million and get all the All-Stars.
Well, there was one of the suggestions on somebody, and I can't remember who did it. It was very clever, though. Why doesn't George, who has his offices in Tampa, just buy the Devil Rays and then just take the players he wants off their team and
trade
assimilate them into the New York Yankees?
Why not? Well, that's what they did with the old Kansas City team many years ago. As Moises pops that up to the right side. Uribe and Gload converge. Look at the wind blow, and Gload makes a fine catch to retire the side. Plenty of guts by the Yankees, and Gload as well here in the 5th inning. No score for the Cubs, who lead at 4-2. Two Cubs have the lead. We go to the 6th inning. Big crowd enjoying this one. The wind howling straight in, and Carlos Zambrano out pitching Estaban Loaiza in Game 1 of this July 4th weekend series with the Sox. Valentin leads things off for the Southsiders, and Stoney, a very special guest here for this big weekend of baseball today.
Joe Montaigne has joined us, and Joe, I know you come in for a couple of different things. You don't need an excuse to come to Chicago, which I know is your home, but the Bleacher Bums has been revised.
It has been revised. It's playing right now at the Royal George Theater here in town. I saw it last night. And it's just wonderful. It's still, after over 25 years, it's, you know, hopefully it's still entertaining and still, you know, my homage to the Chicago Cubs and their fans.
Well, it's still very entertaining. We do know that, and you got a chance to see the opening. But you also did something in Burbank that I think much to the delight of just about everybody in Burbank.
That's right.
You opened up a Chicago beef and hot dog stand.
Exactly right. Taste Chicago, it's called.
Little pop-up on the infield. Ramos should catch that without any difficulty, and he does for out number 1.
So I can go there and get anything that I usually eat here without a great deal of difficulty.
And you especially will have no degree of difficulty, but absolutely. I mean, we get Cub fans. Well, we get Chicagoans from all over the world. You'll see the signs say "Taste Chicago." They'll pull in, and the first thing they say is, "Now, do you really have the Italian beefs? Do you really have the hot giardiniera? You know, you have the sport peppers? We've got the whole thing. We've got the hot dogs, the Polish, the Italian beefs, the ribs, the pasta. I mean, it's been wonderful. The pizza. So I wanted to have it just for nothing else as a place to hang out. You know, to sit on the porch on a Saturday.
And you also had a great deal to do with this old Cub, something that's dear to all of our hearts. The Ron Santos story, essentially. And how's that going for you?
It's just doing wonderful. We're going to have a premiere on July 23rd in Los Angeles. It's been playing in different parts of the country.
Something's bothering Carlos Zambrano, Steve.
Well, it looks like it's a cramping forearm, because normally, Chip, that's what happens. When your forearm starts to cramp, you want to take your fingers and bend them backward. He was trying to do it against his other arm, and if it's just a cramp, he's going to be okay. The Cubs, well chronicled pitching problems this year. Don't need anybody else.
You see the advantage of having a world-class ball player up here being able to spot this stuff and tell you what's going on?
World-class might be a bit of a stretch.
Well,
I mean, come on.
Joe, it's only good if, in fact, he is okay. Now, we'll take a look at it, and right there, it looks like he got a cramp. You can see he's trying to work it out. Dusty is on the hill, and Dusty's got very strong hands. You know, you hit 278 over the course of a career and drive all those free Chevys, you're going to develop some strong hands. And so hopefully...
It worked. It worked.
That's brutal.
Those are healing hands from Dusty Baker. Are you kidding me? Carlos is ready to go.
That's right.
What's the address of before we talk about this old Cub again, what's the address of the hot dog stand? For all this game's being seen, by the way, in the United Kingdom and Ireland.
There we go. Well, when you're in Burbank, California, it's right on the corner of Verdugo and Hollywood Way, and it's called Taste Chicago. And if you can't get to Chicago, you can at least get the food.
And for Dr. Jerry Becker, he can't watch us. I know he doesn't pay for satellite or for cable. But does he ever pay for anything when he goes in?
Oh, I think, well, we like to take care of Dr. Becker. But no, Dr. Becker, you know, he's a wonderful customer. His whole family, his daughter Carol.
Carol's the best.
His son, it's a great, great family. I know. They love you, Steve. And,
it's a good family. They celebrated their 56th wedding anniversary yesterday. And that's a long time to spend with anybody.
Well, in Hollywood, that's an eternity, we would call that.
2 balls and a strike. It's now 2-2. But the movie doing great. I know a lot of folks are so pleased that you had a part of it.
I was a thrill to be able to co-produce the film, narrate it, and get a lot of my friends to actually do interviews for it, like Dennis Farina, Dennis Franz, Bill Peterson, Gary Sinise. It's been wonderful, and I'm so happy for Jeff Santo, Ron's son, who wrote and directed it, and for Ronnie, and just for our Cub fans. I mean, I think it was nice to have a film that's not just a love letter to his dad. I think that's the main thing too. It's a film about spirit and fortitude, and about baseball and all those things.
But there are 2 pieces left yet to be written for Ron Santo and the Cubs. One is for Ron to get in the Hall of Fame, which he'll have a chance to do coming up, and 2, his beloved Cubs to get in and win the World Series.
Absolutely. I mean, that moment in the film where he says he would have traded, you know, any time a World Series ring unless, you know, he had to get it with the Cubs, otherwise it's not worth it. I mean, and I know he meant that, and that's why his flag's flying in left field.
Fly ball center field. Patterson on the run. Slowing now. He's under it and has it. Konerko is out number 2. Well, I know that You, like the two of us, have so much of an affinity for this place. If anybody wants to know what it is about the magic that is Wrigley Field, all you have to do is go back to Ron Santo's jersey retirement day. It was a cold, cloudy, raw day at the ballpark. And just when John McDonough flipped the canvas over the top of that jersey in the number 10, bright beams of sunshine came down and were just right over the top of Ronnie and Vicky and his family. And it really was a chilling moment and really did symbolize what that man means to this place and to all of us.
Exactly. Well, we have a line in Bleacher Bums where the character comes in and says, playing God's game on his own green grass under his own lights. You know,
That's it.
And that's Wrigley Field, and that's the way baseball should be. And this is the Vatican City of baseball, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, every time we show Ronnie in the air, he believes we're saying something bad about him. But of course, that's not the case. We all know how much he loves this organization. I mean, he played his hair off here as a member of the Cubs.
That's right. That's right. Well, they used to say Mitch Williams pitched like his hair was on fire, so.
Well, that's happened to Ronnie, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is a gorgeous ballpark, and today, when you look around, we're getting one of the best days that we've ever had. The White Sox are here in town. Another standing room only crowd. This is a great day to be in Chicago.
If you're a baseball fan, I don't see how it could get any better than this.
Well, for a Cub win, that would be perfect. Out of play again. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ross Gload. What else is on the horizon for you?
Well, I just finished I just came in from Toronto 2 days ago, or I did a movie. It's going to be the Christmas film on CBS this Christmas. It's called Say When, with Gene Smart and Charles Durning. And then I'm about to start before I go back to Joan of Arcadia, I'll be doing a film called The Kid and I with Tom Arnold. And then actually I'm doing a couple days on another film called 9 Lives with Sissy Spacek and Holly Hunter and Glenn Close. So I've got actually a busy couple weeks coming up before I go back to Joan of Arcadia.
So they're still able to pay you for something you truly love to do.
Well, aren't we all lucky to be able to do that, Steve? You know what I mean? You're right, and I never forget that, and I'm thankful for that every day.
Gload squibs that to the left side. Ramirez to his left. Perfect throw. Joe Montana, great to see you.
Always a
Taste
pleasure.
of Chicago. We'll see you out west in Burbank, California.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Steve.
Cubs post-game show with all the highlights and analysis from Game 1 of the weekend set. Gail Fisher and Dave Otto are standing by with the Cubs post-game show here on Fox Sports Net. Ramirez, Lee, and Barrett coming up. And a mile-high pop-up off to our left and atop the roof.
Ball does bounce on the roof, you have to be ready, because more times than not it bounces right back into the crowd.
One ball, 1 strike. Again, our thanks to Joe Montana for stopping by. We wish him all the luck out west.
What a talented guy he is. I mean, here's a guy with a primetime hit television show doing all kinds of movies and enough time to build a hot dog and beef stand.
2 balls and a strike. Nowhere near from Loaiza. 3 balls and a strike. All the interleague action later on tonight. Keep a close eye on that Seattle-St. Louis game this evening. Jamie Moyer will face the Cardinals, and if there is something to which St. Louis's offense might be susceptible, it is to a crafty left-hander like Moyer. Lifetime, he's 3-1 against the Cardinals. His offense was in dry dock while in Pittsburgh.
There's the interleague stats, and so far the American League has had just about the best of it. Runs scored very similar. Home runs, a few more for the American League. Surprisingly, the stolen bases, many more.
Late swing, and that's into the Sox dugout. That'll scatter some folks.
And the Cub fans here cheering that Derek Lee hit it into the dugout. Obviously not that they wish anybody ill.
And
But
Derek didn't want to smile too broadly either. No balls and a strike to Derek, who's 0 for 2 today. That pull past Creedy and into left field. Ramirez around second. He's going to run. And Carlos Lee, a fine job to throw that ball into second. He was tempted to take a shot at Ramirez at third. That would have cost him another 90 feet on the base pass. Instead, the Cubs have him first and third. Nobody out, and Ramirez shaken up a bit.
Well, hopefully Aramis is okay. Took a tumble over the bag, maybe an awkward slide. And we'll take another look at it. And you're right, Chip. Heads up thinking by Carlos Lee, who gets the ball into second, keeps the double play in order. There's no chance to get Ramirez at third, but he knows there might be a play, so the head first dive and seems to have come away unscathed.
High fly ball belted by Barrett deep toward left. Lee at the track is going to have room. That will score Ramirez, however. A sac fly and an RBI for Michael Barrett. He just missed. So the leadoff walk scores very quickly, and the Cubs lead 5-2.
Well, I'm not sure when the last time the Cubs had 2 sacrifice flies in the same game, but it's refreshing to see it here today. They're also making the White Sox pay for any type of miscue. In this case, the leadoff walk. And there's been a physical error or so.
A little surprised, frankly, that nobody's up in the White Sox bullpen. As we're moving along toward the 7th inning. Pitcher spot, however, due up third for them. Runner at first. Lee is going, and the hit and run beautifully executed. They try to deke Lee into stopping at second. He has none of that. They're at the corners with 1 out now, and the Cubs offensively, Steve, pulling out all their tricks today.
Look at 2 guys on this team that can hit and run. One of them is Michael Barrett, and the other is Ramon Martinez. And so with Ramon up, the Cubs already have, if not a comfortable, but certainly an enjoyable lead. They use the hit and run.
Again, nobody up in the White Sox bullpen. They're down 5-2, and the Cubs looking for more here. Fouled back and out of play for a strike. Zambrano, a chance for his 9th win. And potentially, Steve, a great shot at a National League All-Star berth for the Cubs.
Well, I thought it would take at a minimum 9.
Little ground ball. They'll try to turn 2. 1 there. And just in time to get Zambrano. White Sox turn their 2nd double play of the day, but the Cubs add their 5th run. We're through 6 with a 5-2 lead. Provide the first and only runs for the White Sox, and the Cubs offense has given Carlos a nice lead today.
Well, 2 and 4 is a whole lot different.
And only 2 hits for the Southsiders as Carlos Zambrano gunning for his 9th win. Sammy Sosa, the only man to play in all 40 of these crosstown series matchups, with 2 more driven in today.
And Jose Macias will check in, and he'll play third base. After the headfirst slide into third, Aramis Ramirez had to leave. We'll check it out. See if we know why.
He looked like he was limping a bit in that Cub dugout.
He did. And maybe it's a high quad.
Or a low def, I'm not sure. Joe Creedy will lead things off in the 7th inning. Pat Foley, the voice of the Blackhawks, will be by to guest conduct our 7th inning stretch. And Creedy looks for his first base hit today. He is 0 for 2.
Well, unlike in the American League, you've got the National League, and that'll mean Cliff Polite up in the bullpen, and it'll undoubtedly mean that Loaiza will have finished his day of work.
Popped up out of play foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Reds will be home tonight to face the Cleveland Indians. The Reds have lost 4 of 5, and they're missing Ken Griffey Jr. and Sean Casey, both of whom who have some calf problems.
Austin Kearns also. So that team is starting to dissolve.
Brady reaching for that ball, should be 0 for 3. And he is. 1 out in the White Sox 7th. Kazuhito Tadano, by the way, will start for the Indians. He's their first ever Japanese-born player. He came out of the bullpen, pitched very well a couple of days ago. He'll start against Cincinnati later tonight. Seattle's in St. Louis later. We told you Jamie Moyer against Woody Williams. The battle for the glass boot continues in Houston later on. Ryan Dries and Roy Oswalt will hook up. Texas winners of 10 of 13 is atop the American League West. That has been a very big surprise. They're led by Kenny Rogers and his league-leading 11 victories.
Well, also led by an all-world offense. Another team that's dominated at home at 25-12 and had their problems on the road at 1 under.
Jamie Burke, the White Sox catcher, looks at ball 3 high. 3-0 your count.
Texas is going to learn what, and I think Carlos's elbow is stiffening up again, because he's going to call Sandy Crum out this time, and I think it's muscle spasms, and I just don't think they're going away.
And he gave the cut sign with his glove, as if to say he can't continue on here. Larry Rothschild immediately goes to the Cubs dugout telephone. So right forearm or wrist cramping up on Zambrano here. Sandy Crum.
No, it's the forearm, and what Sandy's doing is checking where the tendon rolls around that elbow area, and Carlos is in some pain.
So Carlos won't be able to continue. He will go 6 innings and a third. The Cubs will have to go to the bullpen. Burke will have a 3-0 count. Frank Thomas will be waiting on deck. And it's Francis Beltran who's going to get the early summons here. He'll have as much time as he needs to loosen up, but you can see the right finger of Zambrano. He's holding the index finger back. It's almost like that index finger is cramping up, or maybe even popped out.
It's not the finger. It's you're getting cramps. You're getting cramps in the forearm, and he wants to keep his hand back to stop the elbow forearm from cramping. That's what he's doing.
Never seen that before, and hopefully Carlos will be okay. He threw very well today, is in line to win it. But the Cubs pitching injury woes continue here today against the White Sox. Back with more at Wrigley Field after this.
Do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by again? Are you from Memphis? Because you're the only 10 I see. So, could I buy you a drink? Or would you rather have the cash?
Okay. You got to the count of 3 to take your...
July 12, 2001. Ricky Gutierrez hit a grand slam off Bobby Howry as the Cubs beat former farmhand John Garland here at Wrigley Field. Carlos Zambrano leaves with apparently cramps in his forearm. And now Francis Beltran has as much time as he needs to get loosened up here with the Cubs in front of the White Sox in this 7th inning.
And normally it doesn't take relievers all that long to get loose. This will be a time where you'll see Carlos Zambrano actually, if Beltran can't get Burke, he's going to get charged with a walk, even though he's in the locker room. And as soon as we hear anything, you can be sure we will let you know.
So 4 strikeouts for Zambrano, 3 walks so far. And Burke has a 3-0 count, facing a man the Cubs think down the road has a shot at being a closer in the major leagues.
Well, he does need some experience, and he'd probably like to get one more pitch to go with that split finger and a fastball that's 96-97.
So the other baseball again later on. We told you Milwaukee and Pittsburgh, the only National League game tonight. Doug Davis and Oliver Perez hook up at PNC Park. That's a doubleheader start. Surprisingly, Pittsburgh had some rain earlier this year.
No.
This will be their 5th doubleheader of the year.
They've got 8 of them overall. That is a rainy season.
Yes, sir. And Milwaukee comes in red hot. They've won 5 consecutive games. Again, the Brewers just a half game behind the Cubs. The Yankees will take on the Mets at Shea Stadium. The Mets 13-26 head-to-head against the Yankees, who will wonder if Derek Jeter is able to play again. Jeter hurt himself making a real heroic play in the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox last night. The Mets enter play just 3 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League's Eastern Division. Again, we've talked about this play a couple of times today, and here it is. Watch Derek Jeter against the Red Sox go tumbling into the seats at Yankee Stadium. It was an unbelievable play. The best way to describe it, in foul ground, Jeter caught the baseball and on full stride took 3 steps and dived into the crowd and held on. I mean, just an unbelievable play. So if you missed SportsCenter, tune in tonight because you'll probably see it again.
And it appears that Beltran might be about ready to go. That's Bill Gleason. You can recognize that chapeau wherever he goes.
I thought he said he'd never go to the North Side.
Oh, he's been to the North Side many, many times. And you might remember him with the original Sports Writers show. That was a most entertaining group.
So the wind continues to swirl here at the ballpark. Beltran now ready to go, and it's a 3-0 count to Burke.
Got Big Frank in the on-deck circle. We were wondering when he would be used.
3 balls, no strikes. And that walk is indeed charged to Carlos. Give him 4 of them on the day.
Showed you that Carlos, who didn't start off with particularly good stuff, is a good enough pitcher to hold this very talented offensive team to just 2 hits to this point. And here comes Big Frank.
We talked to him before the game, and that's the real dilemma for Ozzie Guillen. He's got Konerko and Thomas. He does not have a DH. So one of those guys is going to have to sit out every game played here on the North Side. Thomas, though, a pinch hit chance today, and he takes a letter high strike from Beltran. Frank Thomas, 18 homers and 49 driven in. And as you know, for a slugger, a terrific eye. More walks than strikeouts, although he's down 0-2 here.
How about the fact that he's only grounded into 2 double plays this year? Despite, as you would expect with the size of the man he is, not having overwhelming speed.
I would guess that's because everything's hit on a line or in the air a long way. 0-2. There you go.
kept it back. Charlie Relaford, I think, was right on that one. As much as it pains me to admit that.
We're in rare form today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Missed the corner by a couple of inches. 2-2. Top of the order waiting next for the Sox. They're down 3. Cubs 5, White Sox 2. Popped up out of play. I tell you what, nice to see Jeff Torborg at the ballpark today. Jeff, I think, will be working the national telecast tomorrow.
Talk with White Sox manager.
He's sitting a couple of booths down.
He also had Derek Lee.
Todd Hollandsworth.
While he was managing that Florida team.
Down on strikes, Thomas. 2 outs.
Thomas hasn't seen that split finger very much. And Beltran used it effectively. He keeps it away. It drops out of sight. And it's bye-bye Frank.
Runner at first, 2 outs. Here's Perez. Again, talking to Jeff Torborg, who you might remember started last year managing the Marlins, was replaced by Jack McKeon, who took them to the World's Championship. Jeff felt that the beginning of the end for him with the Marlins was when the Cubs got Alfonseca and Clement from them when Flash Gordon got hurt in spring training.
There's no doubt that the loss of Alfonseca was big.
Line drive and caught at second. That's going to retire the side. Time to talk a little hockey, and here's some great singing. Pat Foley, the voice of the Blackhawks, is here for Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Chicago Blackhawks, Pat Foley.
All right.
2 legends are listening. Keith Magnuson and Harry Carey. Make sure they can hear you. Good and loud, everybody. A 1, a 2, a 3.
Introducing Summer Takeoff. Stay at any AmeriSuites or Wellesley &
On for the White Sox as we enter the bottom of the 7th inning. Cubs in front 5-2.
Figure the Cubs would be very familiar with him. They might remember him as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. There you look at the numbers this year.
And someone else with whom we're all very familiar, the voice of the Blackhawks, Pat Foley, with a scintillating 7th inning stretch.
You got to set your sights a little higher, Chip.
Well, you
haven't seen what we've had in the booth.
That's exactly right. What's new, my friend?
Oh, it's great to be here. And what a beautiful day. Wow.
Lands over the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I saw Chip last night at the great Harry Carey's establishment. Watching the end of the Red Sox and Yankees game. We each have 23 innings in us. I was here yesterday.
Wasn't that something?
I need a nap.
Well,
hey, Derek Jeter should have been a hockey player. How about that play?
I've never seen one that good.
A face plant right into the seats. I mean, and he was not going to stop. That was really cool.
And the Yankees sweep away the Red Sox, sending them 8.5 back in the American League East. That's a shocking turn of events. You might remember the first month of the season, everybody thought the Yankees were in big trouble. Hasn't worked out that way. With play off the bat of Grudzolani.
Well, how much golf are you going to play the first 3 months of the season?
Of the hockey season?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it doesn't, I've talked to people on both sides of it, Stoney, and up till now, I've heard nothing that makes me think that a deal is going to get worked out. Now, you got to be optimistic and hope that it happens, but it doesn't sound very good right now.
2-2, bases clear for Gruntalanek. And he reaches out and hits that into right field. A 2-hit game for Mark. So he's aboard in the 7th inning. Blackhawks made a couple of moves today, signed a couple of veterans. What does that do for the the hockey club?
Or the ball club.
I was going to say ball club. Yeah, I'm still in baseball mode. I apologize.
Well, no, you should be. You know, they're depth guys. They're probably third-line players, but you know, the Blackhawks last year got a lot of young kids, some experience, and they need to get some veteran help. And this is these are a couple of moves sort of to help in that direction. I think Chicago fans might take to Matthew Barnaby. He's a bit of a showman and likes to play physically.
Back to first is Gruntalanek. I think everybody who loves hockey had to love the series between the Flames and Lightning. I mean, two incredibly hard-working teams, and boy, was there a ton of hitting in Game 7.
You're around that puck, you better have your head up, no doubt about it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, Tampa, of course, was not a surprise, but to have Daryl Sutter's Calgary Flames get to the finals, I mean, nobody would have made that bet at the start of the playoffs, but good for them.
1 ball, no strikes. Neil Kotz, one of 2 left-handers in their bullpen, starts to loosen up. 1-0 to Corey, and that backs him off the plate with ball 2.
Now, a lot of folks might have forgotten that you and I actually worked together for a Cub game. It was in Minneapolis, and despite that fact, we both are still employed. That's pretty good.
Well, that shows everybody how good you are, Stoney.
Do you enjoy doing a baseball game? I know it was
a gas,
a different feeling, certainly.
Totally different. And you know, people talk about how tough it is to do hockey. I think
Corey shoots that to right. Gload got a late start, and he makes the play, albeit rather adventurously for out number 1.
Every play to right's been interesting today.
It has been. It has been that.
But I was going to say, Stoney, that, you know, hockey may be tough to keep up with. In my opinion, baseball might be tougher to be good at. Just because you have so much time to fill. It's a day after day grind for 162 games. So, and Chip, I'm not telling you anything. To be able to sit here with Steve Stone to your right, what a comforting feeling that is.
Well,
he could debate that.
How do you pronounce all the names in hockey?
Poorly.
Ground ball towards second. They'll get 1 there and 2 there. Are they saying he was safe at second? Yeah, apparently. Gruntalanek beat the play at second base, so they only get Sosa over at first. That's going to be 2 outs.
Well, it's going to go 4-6-3. It's just not going to be a double play. And Valentin has a look that's somewhat surprising. I don't think he touched the bag. I think that's one of the big reasons.
We've seen the neighborhood play called a lot farther away from the bag.
He was kind of stretching the neighborhood there. And Ozzie knows what it's like. Get a guy sliding in that outweighs you. You want to get out of there as quickly as possible, and they're going to walk Alou in this situation.
Well, Pat, assuming you guys do play, what are going to be the big stories in the NHL season coming up?
Well,
in your opinion,
it's going to be. It's tough to say right now, Chip, just because it's really going to be a whole new world. I mean, the collective bargaining agreement, I think, will change a lot of the dynamics of what teams have done up until now, and the Blackhawks have tried to position themselves to be ready for a big change. I mean, I think they feel that down the road here, there's going to be a lot of pretty good players that become available, because if there's a salary cap, some teams are going to have to shed some payroll.
Yeah, but haven't they been pretty much saving money the last 20 years in preparation for this?
Well, you know, looking into the future is always a good thing.
If you can predict that far ahead, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Well, you know, I think, Steve, you can make the...
Lemieux coming back?
I think that he probably has to if he's going to still be the owner there. I mean, Pittsburgh's had a tough time, but when he went down last year with injury, I mean, they had a hard time getting anybody to come to their game. So he's going to have to try to play, I think.
2 men are on with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Isaac Ian out to talk to Polite. He's got a couple of men up in their bullpen, and I think he is going to make the change. Well, Pat, great to see you.
Great to see you guys. And how much fun is this? You know, you've been here long enough that you've had some down years. You guys must be thrilled.
As I'm sure you would say, it beats working. Pat, great to see you. 18th Saturday, the Cubs play the Brewers at 3:05. Arrive at the ballpark early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older get a Cubs Road baseball cap. Neil Kotz is on in the 7th inning. Macias in for Aramis Ramirez, who left with a left groin strain. Carlos Zambrano out with a right forearm cramp. This Cub team just can't stay healthy for an extended period of time, and one would imagine Aramis might need a day or two to recover from that injury sliding into third base. Macias, a wicked cut, fouls it straight back.
Well, Kotz, despite what the record looks like, has pretty good stuff. He's 1-3. His ERA is 5.5. He's on for the 23rd time. One of them a start. There's a whole lot of people in baseball that would like nothing more than to get their hands on this guy. I just don't think Kenny Williams is going to be trading him anytime soon.
Inside corner pitch taken for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the 7th. Cubs leading by 3. You looking forward to shooting your customary 62 tomorrow out at Medina?
Well, no, I'd rather play 18 holes and get into the 80s, but it's going to be very nice.
Long day for that man, Kenny Williams, fine general manager of the White Sox. Popped out of play to the right side. He pulled off the big deal for Freddie Garcia. That's something the White Sox desperately needed. Someone to move to the top of that rotation. They've had no luck filling out the 5th spot. They figure Garcia is going to be just what they were looking for this offense. Should provide him something the Mariners didn't, and that's plenty of run support.
Well, I think Kenny Williams, just like Jim Hendry, not done yet. Both of these teams are not the finished product of what's hopefully going to go into the playoffs on both sides of town.
Lined and caught on a snow cone by Uribe at second. Leathered larceny there, robs Macias of a hit, and the Cubs of a 7th inning run. We go to the 8th inning. Good play at second. White Sox trailing the Cubs 5-2. 8th inning rolls around with the Cubs protecting a 5-2 lead. Uribe, Lee, and Valentin coming up for the Southsiders. Good pitch, freezes Uribe. Hope Joe Vincey's feeling better. One of our technical directors recuperating here in Chicago. Joe, we miss you today. Big breaking ball, 0-2.
Well, you know, you're getting Merker ready to go in case you have to face Valentin. He's a guy that switch hit most of his career, but not doing so anymore, and sometimes with a left-hander it's a little more difficult.
Popped up out of play. No score in Pittsburgh after 2. Brewers and Pirates dueling tonight. A double dip at PNC Park.
Come on, Pittsburghers.
Go Pittsburgh. Go Seattle. And Jamie Moyer, a former Cub.
John Roush going in the bullpen. Apparently still at the ballpark.
Out of play foul. He's been a name linked to.
It has been a lot of trades.
Atlanta. And a deal perhaps that would send Maglio Ordonez to the Braves for Andrew Jones.
Well, as a 6'9" right-handed starter, you'd have to figure that there'd be a few teams interested in the young man.
Look at that breaking ball explode away from Uribe. 2 strikeouts for Beltran and 1 man down. Zambrano leaves with forearm cramps, Steve. 1, how are they caused? 2, how do you make them go away? And 3, is it a cause for concern in his next start?
I mean, forearm cramps can be caused by anything. Dehydration can be something. Perhaps some caffeine maybe before the game, who knows, but we really don't know what caused them or the end result of how he's going to get over them. If they're just plain cramps, as we've seen people get from time to time, then everything's going to be fine. I mean, he pitched after the first set of forearm cramps. So I leave it to our fine medical staff to be able to put together not only the diagnosis, which they did, but then come up with a reason for it and a way to eliminate that problem.
The next start for Zambrano scheduled for July 7th. That'll be the series wrap-up with the Milwaukee Brewers.
As everybody that evaluated the Cubs starting rotation put it either 1, 2, or 3 in all of baseball. That hasn't been a problem. What has been a problem is getting them all together in the designated spots.
Hasn't happened once.
And stay healthy enough to actually have the rotation that Jim Hendry envisioned when he put together this baseball team. Nobody's fault. It's just sometimes the luck of the draw. And it takes a lot of character to play around a whole lot of injuries.
2 balls and a strike. And that's off the plate. That's why it's somewhat interesting to hear a lot of fans say, well, the Cubs need to go out and just make a deal. I don't think they really know what kind of team they have for the reason you just pointed out. They haven't had it together yet.
Making a deal to make a deal isn't really the object of this. And we know enough about Jim Hendry to know, number one, he's a tireless worker, and number two, if he thinks that he can do anything to make this team better, as illustrated by what he did before and just after the trading deadline last year, he's going to make a deal.
Nice comeback for Beltran. He blows away Carlos Lee. 2 up, 2 down.
Pretty good piece of pitching by Beltran, and that's why folks are real excited about Francis. The one thing you can't teach is a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You can teach somebody how to make it move. You can teach somebody how to throw some off-speed pitches. You just can't teach velocity. Francis has it in abundance.
One of your keys today, Stoney, don't give Valentin good fastballs to hit and run scoring situations. The Cubs haven't today.
Well, they've actually pitched very well to him. Carlos hit him with a slider. Nothing came out of that because of a double play. Struck him out and popped him up. And in the middle of this lineup, he's a dead fastball hitter and a good one.
2 balls, no strikes. Konerko is scheduled next.
By the way, let me throw in, because I've known him for a long time, one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. He's a good man to have on your team.
Popped him up. Right side, Grotolonic. Battling the high sky and the winds, and a good solid 2-handed catch. Beltran, 1 inning and 2/3 of spotless relief. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
The Kings of Golf.
You're here live at Wrigley Field. Keep it right here on Fox Sports Net for the postgame show. Dave Otto and I will be coming at you live from Wrigley Field. Dusty Baker will join us. We'll talk to the Cubs skipper. Damon Andrews will go inside the White Sox clubhouse. Mitch Robinson will report from the Cubs side of things, and we'll have it covered from the north side to the south side. It's all coming up on the postgame show. Chip?
All right, Gail, thank you very much. Boy, how about that shot in the booth to our left? That screen just makes Gail look so excited to be at the ballpark.
I have to tell you, it looked like a real easy on camera when in fact it took 10 people to hold that screen.
Derek Lee leads off the Cubs 8th. John Adkins is on to pitch, and he's gone to 3-0. Derek Lee 1 for 3 on the day. A hit and run single sent him to second base, where he was stranded for the Cubs. A rope into left center field. That'll get down for the 10th Cub hit. So Derek 2 out of 4 today. It'll bring up Michael Barrett, who's hit 2 rockets so far today.
Hasn't exactly been an offensive extravaganza for the Sox. So as much as they hit across town, they've managed but 2 base hits today. Managers can give as many signs as they want, do as many things as they can do, but when you manage just 2 hits, you can't look real aggressive.
One ball, no strikes. Another insurance run would not hurt.
Adkins has been pretty good, on for the 18th time. The ERA at 2.63. Given up 1 lone home run in 24 innings of work.
And now Barrett will chat with Wendell Kim. Atkins came over for Ray Durham late in July 2002, originally an Oakland Athletic and a Oklahoma State collegiate.
A pretty good baseball program there at Oklahoma State.
On ball, no strikes. Punted nicely to the right side. Nobody's covering first base. You talked about the White Sox defense. It's been offensive today.
Well, it's going to be a base hit. And I think Ozzie is wondering, what could Uribe have possibly been thinking? We'll take another look at it. Closest guy there, Charlie Relaford. He certainly isn't going to catch it.
So first and second, nobody out. Now almost certainly Martinez will be trying to bunt. He's singled, he's flied out, and he's been intentionally passed. The Cubs were down 2-0 after one. The White Sox do not have a hit after the second inning of today's game. They have just 2 in total. Beautiful bunts. Atkins muffs that. The throw to first, though, in time. 1-4 sacrifice. Uribe covers the bag this time, and the top of the order will try to add a couple of more runs.
And we're going to take a look. Todd Walker is going to come up to pinch hit with Mark Grudzielanek in the on-deck circle. Let's see if they decide to walk him and take their chances with the right-handers. Ball just barely able to get there and beat Ramon as Atkins bobbled the ball.
This has been the spot for the Cubs. It's been a hugely pleasant surprise, and that's the performance of Dusty Baker's bench players. They will take the bat out of the hands of Todd here and intentionally walk him. That'll load him up, though, for a hot-hitting Mark Grudzielanek. Count, that'll be walk number 6 issued by the Sox today in the second intentional pass. So there's ball 3.
You know, I was thinking about the Buick opinion poll.
Were you?
Yeah. Didn't quite know what it was going to be today, but I knew it would be interesting.
Well, there it is. Who will be this weekend's crosstown hero? Kind of like the way that's put. 5 Cubs and anybody else for their team. Log on to FSN Chicago and make your opinion known. Gail and Dave will have the results in the postgame show. A chance to put it away, perhaps. 5-2 Cubs lead. The bags are full with 1 out. Broken bat, flare to left. Lee can't get that. That'll drop safely. One's going to score. RBI single for Grudzielanek. A bloop hit gives him his 5th RBI and 3rd hit today. It's 6-2.
Well, you might remember all those things that went wrong on the south side of town when these two teams hooked up over there. Today, it's pretty much been all Cubs. Physically, it's been a costly game. But Grudzielanek has 3 singles, 1 run scored, and the Cubs are starting to pull away. And my pick to click today, Corey Patterson. He could drive in a couple of big ones here.
Well, we don't need a duck snort here. We need a gapper someplace. Cubs lead it 6-2.
You realize that Hawk and DJ will be leading us 3-1 in games done in this classic.
That's true.
We'll get them back next year, though. We'll all do 6.
Shadows creeping out toward the pitcher's mound here as we move toward the 5 o'clock hour.
That's a big advantage right now. Visibility good. So you score a couple more, and then the shadows will creep up for the White Sox.
1-1 count. Ground ball. Tough to turn to on Patterson. One at second. The throw to first is in time. They got it. Gene Kleins with a brief argument. And the Cubs settle for 1 in the 8th. On we go to the 9th. Cubs 6, White Sox 2. Our producer of Cubs baseball on Fox Sports Net is Bob Albright. Today's game directed by Dave Turner. Joe Corneo, our associate producer. The always impartial Christine Charbonneau, our stage manager. Our production manager, Moheen Ramsey. Josh Wines, our executive producer, and the vice president of programming, Don Graham. Cubs have a 4-run lead in the 9th inning. They've out-hit the White Sox 12-2. And LaTroy Hawkins will face the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the White Sox.
Some real impressive relief work for Francis Beltran. He was outstanding today. Now it's up to Hawk to nail it down. It's a non-save situation. And it's getting to be a non-visibility situation.
Paul Konerko held in check. He wore out the Cubs on the south side. Today he's walked, he's flied out into a double play, and has also flied out to center. No balls and a strike. Rip toward left. Long run Alou. He's not going to get there. That's going to one-hop the fence. And Konerko, a leadoff two-base hit. First hit for the White Sox since the 2nd inning. 10 two-base hits for Paul Konerko.
Well, the one thing you can't do when you're facing this or any other high-powered American League team especially is go and light up that victory cigar too early, because this is a team that can sting you in a hurry. Konerko turns on that one. He's hit the ball hard today, but this is the first he's had to show for it.
Ross Gload, the hitter. He drove in a pair of runs in the 1st. He thought he hit a grand slam. He didn't. It was foul. He then rifled the next pitch into left center field, scoring Timo Perez and Juan Uribe. That's all the White Sox have gotten offensively, however, today. The expression, it's a game of inches. Here's an example of it. The fans knew it was foul. Charlie Relaford thought it was fair, and after a long argument, Relaford did the right thing. Got some help. And Gload came back and hit a double. 1 ball, 2 strikes to him here in the 9th.
Willie Harris on the on-deck circle. Apparently he's the new one dog.
Does he have a 40-ounce bat and a whistle on the glove?
I don't think so.
And he's not quite a Lance Johnson clone.
Not yet. A few thousand hits away, I think.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ross Gload. Back out of play. Friends, don't pass up your chance to experience a Cubs game from one of the official rooftop partners across the street from Wrigley Field. For rooftop information, visit www.ballparkrooftops.com. One-two count. Fisted out of play. Again, a big weekend. 12 o'clock start tomorrow. A night game Sunday. As you know, parking a little tight around the Wrigleyville neighborhood during the weekend. You can get to the ballpark very easily by taking the CTA. Ride the L. Stops right at the Addison Street Station, a block away from the ballpark.
Or park at Dry University.
Fly ball hit to right center. That should be playable for Sammy. Konerko thinks about tagging, but he won't. Down 4 runs. There's your first out in the 9th inning. So Harris will hit for Creedy. 13 RBIs this year for Harris.
You might remember he started out very hot this year and got a chance to play center field just about every day. Lately, as Ozzie Guillen plays the hot hand, he's given way to Timo Perez.
1 ball, no strikes. Questions, I'm sure, for Dusty Baker today. Status of Ramirez and Zambrano, both of them banged up today. Will Ramos be able to go in game 2 tomorrow? Carlos in good shape for victory number 9 this year. Fly ball, they had him played perfectly. Alu in the shadows over near the Parkman seats has no trouble.
Ball hardly ever goes in that area in this ballpark, but Moises right there to make the play.
So Ben Davis now is going to come up and hit. Larry Rothschild remembers him from the American League. Davis.
Watch the bunt.
A very good bunter, especially in no-hitters.
Those of you who might not remember, that's the controversial play that Ben Davis used to break up a no-hitter of Kurt Schilling. But nothing wrong with it because it was a 2-run game. And getting on, he brought the tying run to the plate. So though Bob Brenly and the Diamondbacks weren't very happy, it wasn't a bad play.
A strike to Davis. He lays one down. Somebody might have a chance for a 4-run homer with 2 men on. Actually, that can't happen. As you know, 1 ball, 1 strike to Davis.
That one hit off Chris Guccione behind the plate. Only suggesting to Michael Barrett that he get a little more glove on the next one. The Cub fans up on their feet would tie the season series at 2 with 2 to go.
And they take the overall series lead in this ballpark. 10 wins, 9 losses for the Cubs against the Sox. Southsiders are down to their final swing.
Ben Davis, a very high draft choice, originally out of the San Diego Padre organization. They thought they had their catcher of the future for many years. And at least for them, it didn't work out.
Two strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Egon. 6-2. Cubs beat the White Sox in the 4th of July series opener here at Wrigley Field. Great pitching by the Cubs today. They fell behind 2 runs in the 1st inning. The White Sox manage only 3 hits today. The Cubs pummel Estaban Loaiza and the rest of their staff for 12 safeties today. The Cubs at the moment, Steve, just 2.5 games behind the Cardinals in the Central. But a great start to the 4th of July and a very exciting game at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, the only ominous note is the Cubs had 2 players leave the field, and that was Zambrano with some cramps in his forearm and Ramirez with a high groin strain. Hopefully both will be okay. The Cubs a very happy team today, and they take the first of what should be a very entertaining, very intense, and a very good series with their crosstown rivals. Sammy Sosa, our Hyundai player of the game. He put him ahead with a 2-run single. Corey Patterson scored the third run. And the Cubs went on to put it away and beat the Sox 6-2.
And quite frankly, Steve, it was a sweep today. The Cubs wives beat the White Sox wives before the game. Their lesser halves followed suit in the big game today.
Well, the Cubs wives hung on to a close one, 5-4. They executed in a close game. And so did their counterparts in the second game of the twin bill.
So, Mitch, I guess the big question, who had it better today, Mark or Danielle Grudzelanek? Let's find out down on the field.
Well, the question was just posed to me. Who had a better game today, Danielle or you? And I got to go with you. I mean, you were phenomenal out there. 3 for 5. You got on base when you needed to and helped the guys get you in.
Yeah, no question. I need to do that. I need to get on base for my 3, 4, 5 hitters, and I got to do it. It's just the way it is.
This was a greatly pitched game by Zambrano. You hate to see him leave, but hopefully it's just cramps in that one. But the fact that they don't get any hits after the second inning until this 9th inning had to feel good for your defense.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a tough day out there today. The wind was blowing. It was, to judge the balls, and so you had to be sharp out there and help out the infielders as well as the outfielders. So we done a pretty good job today.
Last one before the game, you told me they got 2 of 3 down on the south side. You need to just win series back when they come here. That's what the good teams do today. Obviously, played like a good team.
Absolutely. It's a good step. Winning that first one's extremely important, and hopefully we can come back and win tomorrow.
All right, Mark. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on that game.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, the post-game show gets rolling. We'll have White Sox Cubs reaction with Gail, Dave Otto, and a host of others. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. Your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's cable company. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Nobody makes whiskey like Jack Daniel's. And by Hyundai. When your car comes with America's best warranty, you win. Hyundai.
This summer, the Fast Lane is under new ownership. Supercharged Grand Prix Comp G, V8 GXP, and 350 horsepower GTO. Together for the first time in the most thrilling performance of the season, Pontiac Summer Drive, the performance of the year, the ride of a lifetime. Now playing at Pontiac dealers everywhere.
Creating Chicago's best pizza begins with selecting the best ingredients. The best tomatoes, vegetables, meats, and cheeses all come together to create Giordano's famous stuffed pizza, which is why we wouldn't think of serving you anything but the best. From pizzas to the freshest salads, soups, spaghettis, lasagna, chicken parmesan, and much more. Giordano's, where being the best isn't just a slogan, it's a Chicago tradition for nearly 30 years. Giordano's famous stuffed pizza.
I can't believe I ate all that with just these. So you feel like doing anything tonight?
Let's get changed and go rent a movie.
I like it.
Okay.
Now you can get the movies you want without leaving home.
What?
Hit pay-per-view movies starting every half hour. From Comcast Digital Cable, your life connected.
I wasn't always up to speed on the internet. Do you have any email for me? But that was then. Now, thanks to Comcast, I am a broadband goddess.
Comp Gamer 12 has left the building.
Comcast high-speed internet is always on, no dialing up, and multimedia is a snap. Their highest speed puts dial-up and DSL to shame.
I have DSL.
You're not at 3 megs? You got a life. What are you looking at? If you ask me, it's the killer app.
That was then. This is Comcast.
ATA Chicago Cubs postgame show, live from Wrigley Field.
I guess. LaTroy Hawkins comes in and closes things out for the Cubs as they beat the White Sox in Game 1 of the Crosstown Series here at Wrigley Field. 6-2 is your final. The Cubs holding the Southsiders to just 3 hits on the day. The Cubs, meanwhile, getting 12 hits. Both teams had 1 error apiece. So, Game 1, Dave Otto goes to the North Siders. Hello and welcome into the ATA postgame show. Gail Fisher and Dave Otto here, and we want to head right back upstairs and bring in the Cubs broadcast team of Chip Carey and Steve Stone. And guys, it came down to some good pitching, and the Cubs holding the Sox to just 3 hits on the day.
Yeah, you're right, Gail. The White Sox came in first in the major league in runs scored, runs per game. Just 3 hits for them today, and you couldn't have drawn up a better weather day with Carlos Zambrano on the mound pitching for the Cubs this afternoon.
No, you love the fact that the wind was blowing in. Zambrano, until he got cramps in his forearm, threw real well. Beltran came in. He threw equally as well, and then Hawk closed it down. It was a non-save situation, but you held a real potent baseball team to just 3 hits. And after that error in the first inning, really it was a non-factor. The 2 runs were unearned. So the Cubs today did just about everything right. And at the end, they tied the season series at 2.
When you play a good team, you can't make mistakes, you can't give them extra opportunities, and you have to cash in the mistakes the opponent makes. Frankly, guys, that's what the Cubs did today. The White Sox didn't have a good day. The Cubs gladly took advantage, and tomorrow Greg Maddux will try to make it 2 straight over these White Sox here at Wrigley Field.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great weekend out here at Wrigley Field. And right now we want to welcome in the Cubs skipper Dusty Baker, brought to you by Nissan. And Dusty, thanks for joining us. Let's first talk about Carlos Zambrano. You guys held the White Sox to just 3 hits on this ball game. Carlos, maybe a little too much energy there in the first inning, but he really settled down until unfortunately he got that cramp in the forearm.
Yeah, well, he was overamped earlier because he wanted to pitch so well. You know, he was kind of overthrowing, and man, you know, the play of the game was when the umpires convened and conferred and got the call right. Because from where we were, you know, we were like blow, blow, blow foul, and we could see the wind was blowing from left to right, and missed the foul pole and went inside the foul pole. So that could have been a different ball game, you know, had that play stood up. But I got to give the umpires a lot of credit for at least getting together and discussing it and getting the call right.
Dusty, you talked about him being overamped at the beginning of the ball game. Is that why you paid him a visit when Carlos Lee was up in about the 3rd inning?
Yeah, I was just trying to say, hey, settle down. He had been running the bases a lot. You know, he always hustles. Made a couple great plays out there himself and covered the first base. And I just wanted to give him a 20-second timeout like basketball to catch his breath and just, you know, settling down some. So, you know, we were a little worried there. His forearm cramped up on him twice. You know, it's nothing structural or nothing. It was just straight cramp in the muscles. His fingers start cramping there at the end. And got to give Carlos Beltran, I'm so used to saying Carlos Beltran, you know, Francis Beltran, credit. He did a great job for us. That's hard for a young pitcher to come out and warm up out there in front of everybody, because invariably they always say I'm ready when they're not, because the pressure from the crowd. So the umpire, Charlie Relaford, told him just take your time, take all the time you need, and don't worry about the crowd. And he did a great job. So we're just happy to even this series at 2-2. Our guys played well. We're a little concerned about Ramos Ramirez because we don't know. He tweaked his groin some on that hustle play going to 3rd base. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed that he's okay, because we certainly don't need any more injuries.
Well, against Loaiza last time, you let him off the hook early in the ball game. Today, took advantage of some things with 4 hits all in a row. Some tremendous at-bats.
Well, there were some great at-bats, and that guy's he's turned into a great pitcher. I mean, you see why he's 8-3. His location is outstanding. His control is great, change of speeds, and you know, we beat a very good pitcher today. And you know, we had the advantage today without Frank Thomas in the lineup. That's what happens when you come to the National League. They were the advantage over there, and you know, we have the advantage over here.
I know last weekend you said it was some sloppy baseball, some errors, some poor base running. You guys came in off of a great series against Houston. Things a little bit more tightened up today.
Well, a lot more tightened up. Didn't start off like that. Like I said, I mean, that was wasn't a very pretty first inning, but you know, Carlos held him to 2. I mean, that was huge, especially against this offensive club here. And you got to give Ross Gload a lot of credit, because he had a heck of an at-bat against Carlos. He fouled off a number of pitches and almost hit a grand slam.
Now, I know the Cubs' wives beat the Sox wives earlier before this ball game. Your wife actually was doing some pitching in that game. Ever think about calling her in to replace Carlos today?
Well, I don't know. She thinks she can come in and pitch, but she played in college. She's a pretty good player. And, you know, the guys tell the guys for the game, hey, boys, we got to win a doubleheader today, because the wives put a little pressure on us by winning that first game. So it was overall a good day on the north side, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow.
Nothing against your wife, but I like Darren's chances better than your wife's.
Well, what you think, son?
I don't know.
You don't know? You think you can play out there?
Yeah. You can rake, can't you?
You can hit?
All right, well, Dusty, I don't know what came. Dave Otto started the no mustache thing first, and then you followed. Is this going to be like a second half of the season thing?
Well, you know, I just shaved my mustache off. It only took me 3 months to grow it. I don't shave, and
takes me 2 hours, Dusty.
Yeah, I see that. And you know, once a year when things aren't going well, you sort of try to change your luck, and that's why I shave. Well, he shaved me actually. I don't shave with a razor. I shave with outliner and an electric razor. So we had us a little shaving party the other morning.
All right. Well, it was a fun game today. Great outcome, and it should be a good weekend.
It's going to be a tremendous weekend. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dusty. And Darren, thanks for joining us. All right. It was an absolutely great game for the Cubs as they win it 6-2. Let's take a look back at the highlights. Now we're going to start off with Ross Gload in the top of that first inning. You think it's a grand slam. At least that's what they call it to begin with, but you're going to see on the replay, Dave, it really was a foul ball.
Well, I give Charlie Relaford credit, the first base umpire and the crew chief. You have to get this right, and it was obvious that it was foul. And, you know, and Dusty Baker was right. I mean, it was a tremendous at-bat by Gload. It ends up getting a double, but I'm just glad everything went right here. Gload with the double to drive in 2. But that's when Carlos Zambrano, after that, settled down.
Well, and it's a good thing they got 2 instead of 4. Bottom second now with 1 out. Aramis Ramirez doubles 1 into the gap, so he continues his hot hitting. Next batter, Derek Lee.
Well, just a tremendous at-bat by Ramirez. And Derek Lee, here's the difference in the ball game, the outfield play. Ross Gload misplays this ball into an error double to drive in Ramirez. Now the Cubs are on the board, and it's 2-1.
All right, on to the bottom of the third inning. 1 runner on, no outs. Corey Patterson doubles 1 to center. And Timo Perez is going to surrender this one as the ball goes into the ivy.
Right, and the White Sox do catch a break because Grudzielanek would have scored easily. Instead, you have second and third, and this is where the Cubs string some hits together. Nice at-bat by Sammy Sosa, driving the ball up the middle to drive in 2. Great base running also by Corey Patterson to score the Cubs' 3rd run.
So the Cubs take the lead. It's 3-2. Next up, Moises Alou, and he's going to find a gapper. Sosa moves to 3rd. Now you've got runners at 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, error by Gload in that second inning, and also Timo Perez misplayed that ball. It's very difficult for a team to come into Wrigley, particularly today with the wind blowing the way it was.
The Falco window of opportunity is Aramis Ramirez, and he's going to go down looking.
You know, this game could have been a lot higher scoring if not for 3 double play balls and some tremendous plays by the White Sox middle infield to get out of a couple of innings.
All right, 4th inning now. Michael Barrett on 3rd, and Carlos Zambrano is going to help his own cause.
Well, Gail, you know Carlos Zambrano can rake as he's sitting right next to us right now. Good at bat by him to drive in a run. And then Grudzielanek dumps one down the left field line to drive in Derek Lee.
The Cubs go on to win this ball game 6-2. They did it on 12 hits, holding the White Sox to just 3 hits. And so right now we're going to just check out briefly the NL Central board before we talk to Carlos Zambrano, because we want to see here, and the Big Z can see this, 2.5 games out now of St. Louis, who's going to play later on tonight. So we'll have to keep our eye on the Redbirds later. Right now, though, Carlos Zambrano, congratulations. A nice game for you. Before we talk about that forearm that looks all wrapped up in ice, let's talk about the beginning of this ball game. Did it take you maybe that first inning to sort of settle down a little bit?
Well, you know, the umpire was a little bit tired. I didn't know how he liked the ball. If he liked the ball down, up, you know, I trying to find the way how to throw the strike to him, you know. And the thing happened. I just went out there and trying to throw my game.
Zay, early on, I think it was the inning before you got taken out. Was that the first time you felt it when you had Sandy Crum come out there? And did you feel it early in the ball game, the cramping in your forearm, or was it in that 5th inning?
Yeah, I feel that, you know, the first time when Sandy went out there, and you know, that was not too bad. And the last time when I came out, I say, you know, I can hurt. This is can be worse, and I just told him to take me out, and I told Dusty that too, and you know, that was better and that way.
Yeah, have you ever had that type of injury? You know, I imagine probably one, because you're so strong and you cover the baseball. Have you ever had something like that happen to you before?
Well, yeah, last year, you know, I have to drink more water and more have more drink, and you know, that happened to me last year, like I say, and I have to take care of my body and that way.
Carlos, you have to get up for a series like this. It's awfully exciting between the Cubs and Sox. Were you a little bit more used to the White Sox hitters after seeing them last weekend?
Well, yeah, you know, when as a pitcher, when you face the team twice, you have an idea what to do, and that was what happened today. I have an idea what to do with those hitters, and you know, pay more attention to Connerico and Lee and Valentin. Those three guys in the middle of the lineup, you know, can be danger for any team.
Michael Barrett, outstanding. You guys really work well together. You threw in some breaking balls later on in the game. I mean, your big curveball go along with that split finger fastball, pretty good.
Well, yeah, he's good, you know, and he's still learning. You know, he's young, and sometimes it's hard for a catcher to be behind of the home plate in front of, you know, those monsters like Wood, Pryor, Clement. Everything is nasty, you know, and we have to understand, the people have to understand that it's not too easy to catch those type of guys.
See, you're nasty.
Right. You've got the stuff too.
You know, what can I say? When God give you something, you have to use it.
One more question for you. How was it facing Esteban Loaiza?
Well, you know, he has some
you got to hit against
good
him.
pitches, you know. Carter is good, and you know, he's a good pitcher.
All right, thanks a lot. Carlos Zambrano, nice game for you. Take care of that forearm. Lots of water. Hydrate. Helps prevent cramps. Thanks, Carlos. We'll see you later. Taking a look at the Big Z's line on the day, 6th and 3rd inning. Runs were not earned, so that does not get credited to Carlos Zambrano. He walked 4 and struck out 4. Esteban Loaiza, on the other hand, 6 innings for him, 8 hits, 4 earned runs that do get recorded for him. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. All right, plenty more to come live from Wrigley Field. We'll talk to some of the Cub hitters, including Derek Lee.
Closed captioning on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Announcing the ATA Fare Better sale. The easier way to get a great fare with bigger planes, more seats, and more low fares. You'll fare better on ATA.
So I'm gonna go easy, go ATA. I'm gonna go easy, go ATA.
A new Ford SUV, an ultra-thin TV. Now get more at your Ford store with a new Ford SUV. The widescreen TV's free. The widescreen TV's free. The screen is flat. Can you hang with that? The widescreen TV's free.
Get 0 for 60 or choose 3,000 to 4,000 cash back. Plus, current Ford owners get an extra 1,000 on Explorer. All that in a free Dell HD Ready LCD TV.
The new Ford SUV.
3 years ago, No Name Steak was created in the neighborhood butcher shop. People liked them so much it got us thinking, what else could No Name do?
Now, the styles of the No Name.
Introducing No Name Salmon, pork, chicken, and smoked meats. No Name butcher quality meats. Steak was just our appetizer.
It's not too late to get outstanding deals on outdoor furniture for your home during Poolorama's Midsummer Savings Sale. Save 50 to 70% on our entire selection of beautiful outdoor furniture, like our deluxe 7-piece set, normally priced at $1,500, now only $499. Come in today and let our expert design professionals help you custom design the perfect set for your home. So come into Poolorama's Midsummer Savings Sale today and get the lowest prices on outdoor furniture anywhere, guaranteed.
It's all about freedom to see clearly, to be at the top of your sport, the top of your profession, at the top of the world. It's freedom brought to you by Kraft Laser Vision Correction. No one can match the Kraft Eye Institute in laser vision experience or results. Why trust your eyes to anyone else? The Kraft Eye Institute. It's freedom to see, to do, to be your best. Call Kraft today and see how far freedom can take you.
It's our serious summer sale going on now at Bob Roman's Schaumburg Honda Automobile. Great cars, great values. Seriously.
Our volume power gives us more than 150 Odysseys available. It's the van given the highest possible safety rating. Come see our serious Odyssey savings programs now.
There's only one, Bob Roman.
Bob Roman's Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road, Schaumburg.
A huge crowd outside Wrigley Field as everyone files out of the ballpark after a Cubs victory 6-2 over the White Sox. Game 1 of this series, the Crosstown Classic Part 2 from the north side. The Cubs trying to even things up after last weekend, taking a loss in that series. A lot of good hits. The Cubs with 12 hits total in this ball game. Derek Lee 2 for 4 on the day, and he came through big for the Cubs, and he's inside the locker room with Mitch Robinson.
You guys offensively and defensively shut them down. They're known as a hitting team. That was a great performance by you guys today.
Yeah, Zambrano picked us up big time. Threw great. Arm was bothering him the whole game, but he just fought through it and threw a huge game for us.
How gratifying. I mean, they take 2 or 3 down there. The first game's important. I said to Greg Zelanik, he said, yeah, without doubt, this first game is important for this series.
Yeah, it kind of sets a tone. Now you know you get 1 more out of 2, you win the series rather than trying to fight back and win 2 in a row. But now we have opportunity to win the series and maybe even sweep. So it's big to get that first one.
You get a feeling now that you guys are on the verge of starting to roll. The offense is coming in with timely hits down. The pitching's always there.
Yeah, we're playing good baseball. You know, when we get pitching like that and swing the bats like we did today, you know, we're going to have a great chance to win. So, you know, this is what this team is capable of, you know, pitching great and scoring runs. So it's a good combination.
Great game, man. Congratulations. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, Mitch. Joining us now is Todd Walker. Thanks for coming on the show. Once again, the Cubs-Sox series is always a lot of fun and exciting. You saw it last weekend at the Cell. What was it like today here at Wrigley?
Well, people want to talk a lot about us and the Cardinals, and I think that this series here with the Sox is very comparable to what I was in last year with the Yankees and the Red Sox. It's very similar with the Sox, so it's a lot of fun.
You know, you can talk about, you know, you play 162 games, and you might approach a game like that, but doesn't it feel like once you get into the game, all of a sudden it has that extra special, and you go out there, and it almost feels like a postseason?
Well, it does, and I think that helps you in the postseason. I think it certainly helped us last year with the Red Sox playing the Yankees 25 times or whatever we did during the season. It does feel like the postseason, and it definitely helps.
You guys were able to focus a lot on that Houston series right after playing the White Sox and the South Side last weekend. Then Houston comes in and you guys have a great series, and you looked really focused today again.
Well, people want to talk about which games are bigger than others, and the reality of it is they're all big, and we play each game the same way, and people want to talk a lot about, you know, we get more up for the Sox than we do some other team, and that's not the case. I mean, we just go out and play our game every day, and hopefully we win, but either way, we're going to give it our best, and that's what we've been doing lately, especially.
Walk, how tough is it not to play every day now?
It's very difficult. I mean, going into the season, you really don't have a concept of that, and you know, for me, I mean, my #1 goal, like I said at the beginning of the season, is to win, and if you're winning, it makes it less difficult. But and that's the case here. We're going to win, so there's no doubt about that. But, you know, as a player, you want to play, and sit in the bench is very difficult. And it's been tough lately, but, you know, I pull for Greg Zelanik when he's in there. I mean, we're good friends, and, you know, we just, I think we wish our best, you know, to each other, and, you know, but I think it'll work out.
I'm sure one of the things you love about this team, though, is that team chemistry and the fact that everybody gets along, everybody can fill in for everybody. I asked Derek Lee, he said he's never seen a team so decimated by injuries, the starters, but yet still keep it together, not skip a beat.
Well, that's something that's going to be kind of thrown to the wayside at the end of the season when we get everybody back and we're just where we're supposed to be. Nobody's ever going to remember that we lost 10 guys to start the year, and we were supposed to be in dead last in this division. But our guys have stepped in and played extremely well, and you know, Glendon Rush is a perfect example. He's thrown extremely well in place of Kerry Wood, and that's why we are where we are, and we've kept our head above water, and now we're in good position to win this division.
I know you guys have your families in town. I'm sure you'll be enjoying dinner tonight, but keeping an eye on that Redbirds game tonight.
Well, I think you do a little bit, but ultimately it's still the beginning of July. We've got 3 more months, and we just got to control what we can control out there. And we won today, so I think that's the most important thing.
All right, we'll keep our eye on it for you. Todd Walker, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. All right, checking out our Buick poll question of the day. Let's look at the results. Who will be this weekend's crosstown hero? Will it be a White Sox player? Well, 35% of the viewers say yes, it will be. Coming in second is Sammy Sosa, and Sosa doing a few heroics lately. He did in that Houston series, so you never know, Dave.
Yeah, game-winning home run, and then yesterday, and then a big knock in today's ball game to get the Cubs rolling and give them the early lead by driving in 2 runs in the third.
A good game for the Cubs today, and I know Walk wants to be in there every day, but it's kind of interesting what he said. You got to pull for everybody, and you can contribute when you contribute.
Gail, there's going to be opportunities also, not only at second base, I think, for Todd Walker. As the season progresses, there's going to be instances where other guys on this team need rest, and Todd Walker's a very versatile ball player. He can play other positions because it is nice to have another left-handed bat in that lineup, and particularly the way he can swing the bat.
All right, Cubs win it game 1 with the White Sox 6-2 is your final from Wrigley Field. Plenty more to come. We'll try to get some White Sox perspective in there, and we also will talk to Sam the Man, Sammy Sosa, coming up next.
The ATA Chicago Cubs postgame show is brought to you in part by Subway. It's what you eat when you want to eat fresh. Subway. Eat fresh.
It will let out the seat for you. Take in the sides. Even adjust for the proper length. The Lexus ES with an advanced memory system. For those who appreciate a custom fit. At your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
When it comes to fresh, no one does it like Subway. Behold our line of delicious low-fat sandwiches, made fresh with under 6 grams of fat. Pile on fresh veggies, and don't forget the fresh baked bread, because this is Subway, and this is how you eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
The Real Subway series is going on now at Subway restaurants. What side are you on? Try Dusty's North Sider with ham and pepperoni, or Ozzy's South Sider with turkey, roast beef, and bacon. Just $2.99 each.
Subway, eat fresh.
Moises Alou and the Cubs' loaded lineup face off against one of the best in the AL West when they battle Jermaine Dye and the A's in this interleague showdown. Interleague play presented by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
We created No Name Steaks. There was such a hit, it got us thinking, what else could No Name do? Introducing a new full line of No Name meats. Steak was just our appetizer.
Sundays at 10 p.m. Join Gail Fisher and Damon Andrews for Chicago Baseball Extra. Take a look back at the week that was with expert analysis from Joe Girardi and Ron Kittle. Chicago Baseball Extra, presented by Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage. Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
Luxury means never leaving home, even when you leave home. Surround yourself with DVD entertainment for 7 passengers. 315 horsepower. Remarkable handling. Satellite navigation, a rear-view monitor, and the most second-row legroom in its class. Introducing Infinity's new full-size SUV, the QX56. Unexpected? Expect nothing less from Infinity.
Get the most comprehensive look at the week that was in baseball, the north and south sides at Chicago Baseball Extra. This Sunday night, 10 p.m., a special 4th of July edition. We'll recap the Cubs-Sox series from the weekend, and we'll break down the north and south sides of town with Ron Kittle. And actually, Dave Otto is going to fill in for Joe Girardi this week, and we'll have a national perspective from Kevin Kennedy. It's on Chicago Baseball Extra this Sunday at 10 p.m. Well, a lot of happy Cubs and a happy Cubs skipper. They got the victory today, 6-2. They also had 12 hits in this ball game. Is that too many? Damon Andrews asked the White Sox skipper, Ozzie Guillen.
Well, you know, it's they get big hits in big situations. You know, I think when you face those guys, you know, you gotta get hits in the right situation. You're not gonna have too much chance. You know, I think, but they took the ball real well. You just can make a couple big hits. They had a couple big hits for them, and you know, and then they'll throw the ball either way you want to throw.
Did you think the offense was a little flat, or do you think it was more just about their pitching?
I think this kid pitched better today. He pitched last week. You know, I think he threw more strikes. I think he was deep in there. I think he threw a big strikeout pitch, and you know, I think the key for him was throwing more strike and did in another size.
Can you talk about Gload's bat in the first? You think that was foul? Was it the right call?
Oh, it's the right call. I got to go there argument. You know, I think that's my job. But this is, I'm not going to go there argument with no reason. I just make sure the thing was called, you know, right, and they make the right call.
They talk about the fact this team doesn't miss Ordonez that much yet.
Who's saying that?
Well, no one on this team I know, but you guys, it catches up after a while when you have a superstar out there, right?
Well, you know, if whoever say we don't miss Maglio in the lineup, they're crazy. But then, you know, it make my bench more stronger. And obviously my lineup is stronger, but I think Glow and Perez are doing a tremendous job. You know, but we're missing, yeah, we're missing in the field. But you know, we're not missing in the crowd. You know, he can go higher, but it's a big bat.
Ozzie, the first base umpire initially, he called it a home run, then he changed his mind, didn't he? What changed his mind?
Well, he got three different guys watching. I think he made the right call. He made the right call. I'll be watching the game TV, but he made the right call.
If that ball's 3 inches to the left, then how different is this game?
Well, if it be, 0-4 in the first inning, how many eyes, and it's just more cushion. But, you know, it's, unfortunately, the ball, it was foul.
A lot of talk about that Ross Gload foul ball grand slam in the first inning, but Dave, that was in the first inning. A lot of other ththings happened in this ball game. Also some talk about Maglio Ordonez. This team really does miss his presence.